Let's go! Sorry if that was loud. You ready for some drama bullshit? You ready for some lame-ass politics? Episode 3, bitches. All right. Gonna fade that out. Welcome to On the Low, episode 3. I figure I should start saying the name of the fucking show. Probably a good idea. I am got the restream working for this one, so hopefully the YouTube VOD will be available for people. I won't have to upload it, which I still haven't uploaded the second one, so that's gonna look real fucky, real professional. Anyways, let me go ahead and bring in the old guest, and we'll get started. What's up, man? We're live. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. What you up to?
Hell yeah. You're looking at it. Another day in paradise. Another day, another fucking dime. So
Watch the world burn, right?
Yeah. I mean, we can only hope that we die fast and in a blaze of glory. That's all I want.
I think that would do society real good to have more people feel that way. I don't think most do, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not selfish. I don't need anything super grandiose. I just don't want to have a real long ending. That doesn't seem appealing to me.
No, this seems a little bit painful.
All right, so let's see. Tonight, first thing we got going on, Jacob Reinohl, or whatever the fuck his name is. Who even cares? He did! This happened this week. It's a little late. You know, I only do my show weekly, but I think it's worth going over. So, Malcolm X. Do you follow Malcolm X on Twitter?
No.
Oh, he's awesome. He finds a lot of shit, too, that I think Ralph uses. Ethan. I want to call him Ethan because nobody calls him Ethan. But
I don't know who calls him. Is Bibble?
Probably. Oh, yeah. I think just Bibble. So, he posted on Twitter, "Getting what you fucking deserve, a tale in 4 parts." So, I wish I knew. I should have pulled up each individual thing to just make sure, because there's a lot of fake shit on Twitter, dude. Like, you can't just see a headline and then be like, "Oh, that looks real," and then assume that it is real, because you look into shit and you'll be surprised how much is just not as
like
accurate.
The Trump. Shit, what was it? The Trump rally where no one was wearing a mask and everyone standing behind POTUS had a mask on that said like MAGA or something like that, and you're like, I can see it in the picture you used for the thumbnail.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm calling bullshit on the thumbnail, man.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is because I feel like, so there is kind of a conspiracy portion to this show, and a conspiracy that I totally buy into. I don't even know if you'd call it a conspiracy because it's so obvious, but they're shortening. Whomever is shortening our attention spans, because people, if they can't Google something and then find it in the first or second page, they just give up on that shit. Like, try and find George Floyd's autopsy without a link. See how?
Which one?
The first one.
Well, I'm saying, but like that adds to it, right? Like,
that's true as well.
You hear about like, oh, blah blah blah, and you're like, and I really do believe that if you're not in the know, it is getting increasingly harder to find this information.
Yeah, I want to look into getting back on Tor and see if there's any Tor websites that are not, strictly illegal, but for like news or something. I think that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. I've got out of it, but that would be very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the NSA figured out a way to track it, as they do, but you know how that goes.
I think the argument was that Tor was the original conspiracy, right? That Tor was set up by
the guy. I think
to some degree.
I think it was invented by the government, and then just like the internet, and then people, took it and utilized it in a way that the government didn't intend, and It's so hard because like I know enough about peer to peer and shit to understand how it works to an extent, but like I doubt I even know 1% of the shit there is to know about blockchain and Tor browsing and stuff like that, and like how secure it actually is, and what kind of network you would want to do if you need to like set up a virtual machine on your actual computer, get really crazy.
I got you.
Anyways, Michael Reinohl sought in fatal Portland shooting after Trump rally killed. Oh, whoops! I think I fucked this up. Yeah, okay, never mind. I didn't. Killed by officers in Washington. Vice, man linked to killing at a Portland protest, says he acted in self-defense. Then,
he acted in self-defense when he killed the kid, or when he
yeah,
was shot by cops.
No, that did you see that? Do you see that Vice interview?
Yeah, that was complete. Yeah, I watched it on with Ralph.
Yeah, I watched the whole one just because I wanted to hear all the SJW cuckery. It wasn't too bad. You can tell they definitely tried to cover their liability bases, but like how incredibly reckless of you to do something like that. But he died in a shootout with police. I don't know, like he probably wouldn't even gone to jail. The way he'd have gone to jail, but then been released later on.
I think he would have. I think ultimately he would have done time.
Yeah, he did take someone's life, so.
So, there, I'll let you read what you got pulled up.
Yeah, 4chan is claiming they identified his location using the Vice footage and sent to the police. That is that
was my question. How did they find him? So, a tip-off?
It must have been. I mean, dude, they're in, it looks like a secluded, wooded area. But you got to remember, 4chan, I doubt Vice, do you know what EXIF data is?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is involved in actual video, and especially once it's uploaded somewhere and it's been compressed and stuff. But there's the digital metadata component of it where that they could have used that to find it. But there's also, like, you got to remember, these motherfuckers found Shia LaBeouf's flag in the middle of a forest using fucking...
They're wood grain experts.
Frogs.
Never underestimate. They are wood grain experts.
Fucking...
And that is the most important thing.
Fucking overhead flight patterns, the type of frogs that were croaking, the types of scrubs that were around. I mean, it's crazy what they did with that. That's one of the all-time greatest things that's ever happened. The most ultimate game of capture the flag.
Talking about, I can't remember if it was Vice, but John McAfee. Remember when he did that interview and they fucked up and someone leaked his XF data or his geotagging information? Do you remember this?
Ah, man.
Who was that? Was that Vice?
I feel like... Let's see.
Because that would like an interview Vice would do, right?
For sure.
I'm on my...
I'll look it up for you.
Yeah, I'm on mobile right now because...
Let's see here.
Reasons.
Yeah, I'll have to look in... Oh, wait, let's see...
But whatever it was, that's how they.
Yeah, it was EXIF data, and it was a Vice interview. But yeah, a lot. So like CNET has. This is why you got to look into shit, people. CNET has like the fourth thing on Google. It says photo, like in quotes, location leak meant to mislead cops, and that's CNET. CNET's a pretty decent software company, but if you look at the actual Vice article, it says the metadata wasn't a ruse. Vice messed up and accidentally leaked McAfee's location. The antivirus pioneer admitted on his blog. So, that's on the Vice website. I doubt that they would... Maybe that's part of it. See, this is another layer that I didn't even think is maybe it was a fake leak or something like that, but who knows?
With McAfee, he is... You could say he may have gotten spun out and got a little bit sloppy, but you would talk about someone who does 4D chess when he wants to.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't help but think that he knew that might happen and let them have access to it. Like, I'm sorry, but if you catch John, then he wanted to get caught.
Yeah, yeah. I think they did that interview from a boat or something. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, he did.
So,
But see, even to this day, all the interviews are on the boat, allegedly. Allegedly. That's if you believe that there is a complete podcast studio built into the boat, which could be.
that's true. I mean, if anybody could do it, he could do it. I don't know how you'd get. You'd have to like come to probably I would assume the same spot close to shore to get good network.
I honest to God think that he has a boat. He just floats around the ocean with the GPS on it and just has all of his information come from that GPS coordinate while he's sitting in some fucking hostel in fucking Germany with fucking 13 prostitutes. That's my theory, but
That's what I would do. Yeah, it's like a red herring kind of thing. Anyways, the last slide in this 4 parts. You get what you fucking deserve. Report suspect in fatal shooting of conservative activist killed by police. Now, I didn't really look into how he got killed by police. Was it just like, your standard run of do you know what exactly went down?
No idea.
Me either. It was probably some, standard run of the mill, like, get on the ground, no. And then he whipped out a gun, and then that's that,
Yeah,
or what looked like a gun.
Well, he had a gun, though. I think that was confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so as well.
Well, I mean, obviously, he got caught how many times with a gun? You know what I mean? Like, and these were not drop guns. I'll flip through them. He had a H&K one time, and another time he had a SIG. I mean, these aren't
high dollar
drop guns. But yeah, he wasn't just walking around with a P80,
fucking Bursa
kit. Yeah, well, be easy on the Burst of Thunders. That's my soft spot.
Yeah.
I love my Burst of Thunders, man. It's a good weight for like a nice little small gun to stash, and it has a nice, just ergonomic, cheap PPK feel. But nonetheless, this is not a high point. You know what I mean? He's walking around with SIG and H&Ks, which might go along with a certain conspiracy that maybe they're a little bit funded, that maybe these guys have ties to that are, donor money, more or less.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. There's been a whole bunch of weird glowy shit that's happened this whole thing. The pallets of bricks, the the Molotov cocktail stations, the police. Like sometimes I feel like the police are in on it too in some areas. They just want it's got a real accelerationist feel to it. Like they just want a civil war to happen.
I don't know. I think as a whole, I would say no, me personally, but I also think you have to take into account in a lot of these cities, Minnesota, Seattle, you have cops that are kneecapped, more or less. They have no rights. They can't arrest these guys, and when they do, they're cut free. So, is it that they're not caring, or is it just that they have no power?
I think a lot of it is that they're just burdened with a lot of shit that society, like, they can't be reasonably expected to do. It's an impossible job, and people are demanding perfection, and that's just not even close to what's realistic or what's going to happen. If you have police, people are going to get accidentally killed. There's people that have been accidentally executed. So that means they went through the police, through the judicial system, through the appeals process, through everything, and they were still like given the highest punishment that they could receive. Yeah.
But we expect perfection, and when we don't get perfection, what do? We fire them. Some of these guys are 5 years away from retiring for good after 20 years of a flawless record, and we will strip them of everything and make them work as a remedial job somewhere because they held a guy down on the ground for too long. They tased someone that shouldn't have been tased. Did you see that guy in Georgia that tased that woman on her mother's porch?
No. I saw the guy in the Wendy's that tried to tase the officer. He got destroyed.
I didn't see that one.
That was right after George Floyd.
Oh, no. Yeah, I actually know where that Wendy's is.
No shit.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my normal areas that I frequent. So, yeah.
Damn.
I
Is
very
it
much
still
know that area.
is it still standing?
It was a month ago,
Yeah, that shit. I thought it burned
but
to the
they
ground.
torched it. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing to it. Tomorrow, I'll send you pictures tomorrow though. I don't have time to go by there tonight, but I'll go by there tomorrow morning and I'll send you a picture.
Hell yeah, that would be fucking sick, dude. Honestly. So
Um,
I have this really shitty video that it's a Gundam reposted of these girls doing cocaine while they're on Twitch, but I'm gonna play that later. Because since we're talking about police, did you hear what happened in Rochester, New York?
no.
So the police chief and other high-ranking officials in the city's 850 officer department have left their jobs amid controversy over the death of Daniel Prude while in police custody in March. So
Was that the Zoom meeting where she was like, blah blah blah, I
yeah,
think everyone left. Okay, yeah. We should okay, yeah. You got it?
well, I pulled up an article, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't know how long.
Oh,
I think it was like a
you
minute and a
fucking
half.
tagged me in it. That's right.
Ah, there you go. I tried
Okay,
to.
hold on. Here we go. I can grab that real quick.
Later in life, send me Malcolm X or whatever it was.
Yeah, you got it. So this does not surprise me at all, bro. I don't know who in their right mind would still be a cop today, bro. Like, just quit and be a private security person.
Yeah.
You get paid more and way less risk, and it's really noble for police to do what they do. But right now, dude, it's just not worth it. Like you said, they'll destroy your whole life. They won't just take your job; they'll destroy your whole life.
They got I forgot what the cop. I forgot what the situation was. There's been a lot of them lately, but they got the mother-in-law fired because of the actions of her son-in-law.
That's so stupid, dude. I can't even. Oh.
Like, imagine that burden. Imagine if you're married, and because I see what's happening on, police wives Facebook group, or I'm sure they're like military wives where they have groups, and it's like like they will come after your entire family. Do not mistake that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a lot of wives that are like, you need to leave.
It goes way past just like just a normal. You did something wrong at your job, so now you're fired. All right, I actually want to see if I can. Oh, I have it locked. That's why. Do a little bit of stream shit. Okay, yeah, I got it pulled up. You probably won't be able to hear it, but you saw it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Want to inform you that the entire Rochester Police Department command staff has announced their retirement. That includes the police chief. That includes Commander Deputy Chief Morbido. I believe that also Chief Deputy Chief Simmons, and there may be a number of others that will decide to leave as well and retire.
So she said it was the entire Rochester police. Shit, I already forgot what it was, but it was basically like the upper echelon of the police, including the police chief, have all decided to just retire. Which I can't even blame them.
That's my theory as to why they admitted it, because New York City has not been admitting how many police officers have left. But when you have that many of the higher ups vanish, you have to justify it.
That's true. Yeah. Retirement is kind of like double speak, maybe I bet there was probably pressure from people. I mean, maybe they were just looking out for him in the end, but who knows?
I doubt that.
You just need to retire, buddy.
I think you probably had a lot of guys who were like, look, all my friends are leaving, and you know what I mean? Like, my mayor's not standing behind me, so why am I going to stand here just waiting to get called a Nazi because I dare arrest someone for shooting up a family?
Yeah, and people also don't realize that if police kill somebody, regardless of what happens to their job, regardless of what happens to their criminal record, you know, quote unquote, like if they get prosecuted, they have to live with that shit. They have to go to bed at night knowing that they took someone's life, especially if it was on accident. That's some horrible shit. Like, that's punishment in and of itself, and not a lot of people think about that.
No, they act like it's not a big deal. Like, these guys are monsters. You know, they're the fascist, you know, enemy, and that these guys have no remorse. Cops have no feelings. They're not humans. You know, they're just a badge, and all they're out to do is just murder minorities on sight. You know, you don't have that happen in your city. Like, I'm in Atlanta right now. I'm convinced the next black person I see is going to be hunted down by the black cops. I'm convinced of it. That's how it works, right?
Totally. Yeah, it's actually they actually get bonuses and raises depending on how many minorities they're able to dispatch. And yeah, they get extra retirement days, timeshare options, better health insurance. It's crazy.
Better insurance?
Yeah, it's
oh, dude, that's where it's at.
Bill Gates gives them free Microsoft products. Like, a lot of them are going for that new Xbox, the small one.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, imagine if they were like, look, for Mexicans, PS5.
Yeah.
The little black one, you're like, wait, the new one? They're like, nah, man, Sarge already got one. He got 7 Latinos last week. They'll be like,
shit.
I am down.
Yeah, it's a real issue, all of the systemic racism that exists. I mean, God forbid you look at any statistics, right?
I mean, Nike is standing against black lives. You know, the city of Minnesota, the entire country of Canada is standing against black lives.
Don't forget Kyle Rittenhouse.
Man, you know what I mean? Like, that Giga Chad is just out there just bashing the fash.
You know, like, initially, so I'm not gonna lie, I have a like sick reaction to like well, first of all, it's like an instant karma thing, but also just, you know, good gunsmanship. Like, I watch a lot of security footage and stuff of firearm related incidents, and I look in because I kind of want to understand how the body language of someone looks when they're about to like whip out a gun and shoot somebody. But when I watched that, at first I was like, fuck yeah, this is just insane what he's doing. Like, it was apparent from the beginning that it was self-defense. That was never a question in my mind, and I was just like, hell yeah. But then when you actually look at some of the surrounding videos, there's that one video where he's like, yeah, I'm just here to help people, and then he says, and then I have my gun in case anything happens. Like, his primary goal for there was to provide medical to people. And what I believe started this whole incident was somebody set a dumpster on fire, and he put it out with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, that's my understanding of the timeline.
So, I mean, he was doing good shit the whole night before.
Well, before that, he was cleaning graffiti. Let's not forget this.
Yeah, that too. Earlier, was it the same day or the previous day? Either one.
I believe it's the same day, because my understanding was that he lived in like a neighboring city, like, you know, like the area that they were at, the shooting took place, was like the outskirts of the main city. Then he grew up in like the center of the main city, so it wasn't like he basically grew up in that area, was my understanding. So that would kind of explain the cleaning the graffiti. Like, I wouldn't do that in Atlanta, but like I would do it in my hometown. You know what I mean? So like that kind of does describe like why a kid doesn't, I mean, is a man, but a kid, you know, wouldn't think it's a big deal just to have a medic kit and an AR-15 and be scrubbing off paint. You're like, if you grew up in the country, that is normal to you to have a gun on you as you're mowing the yard because
100%
stray dogs or whatever. Like, that's normal to a lot of people, is what
you're
some
vulnerable.
people are missing here.
There's a lot of noise going on. I like to listen to music while I do yard work and shit. I mean, I'm hella paranoid, so don't get me wrong. But yeah, you're totally right. Random animals, coyotes, you know, are a real problem all over the country.
Snakes.
Oh, hell yeah, snakes.
I mean, yeah, that's how I look at it. But...
Well, anyways, we were talking about video games a little bit earlier. Did you see what Xbox did when the leaks happened?
No, I've been out of the loop on tech stuff.
Oh, true. So somebody leaked that new small Xbox. I want to say it's called like the XS or whatever the hell it is.
Okay.
Let's see, I can ramble off some stats real quick. It's only going to be $299.
What?
Yeah, it's called the Xbox Series S. It's got like a 500 gig hard drive. Let's see, they did a whole shit ton of advertising for it. But anyway, so it got leaked. This was, I think, probably on the 8th or the 9th. Let's see. Optimized for next. Oh, come on. Okay, all digital gaming. So there's no disc, which is, standard anyway. Like, why do you need
Well,
this?
at $300, I would expect that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it supposedly can support frame rates up to 120 and 4K upscaling. It's got ray tracing in it. Just a whole bunch of graphic shit, which I think is what people are into. But supposedly, since it's like all digital, I imagine it's got it does. Yeah, it's a 512 gigabyte NVMe solid state drive, so it probably loads the games like really fast.
Yeah, I'll assume so.
But anyway, so that got leaked, right? And normally you would expect a corporate Twitter to do, to do something retarded. Whatever they do is going to be stupid. And mind you, this happened in the middle of the night. So they posted a meme with no words on it, and it's like the monkey meme where it's looking to the side and then it's looking straight, and it went viral. Got 172. Well, right now in the first. Let's see. Yeah. So I originally saw this on September 8th. It had 138K likes, 21,000 retweets, and 2,300 comments, and that was 12 hours after it got posted at like 2 a.m. So it pretty well went viral. But
2 a.m. That is crazy.
Yeah, what's my time zone anyways. We'll keep that a secret. But anyways, what it did was, what's genius about this whole thing is anybody that wanted to talk shit, they just went to that post, and then they waited. Let's see how long they waited. They waited. Well, I guess they waited an hour. So they just waited an hour, but they did an official release, and that too got 217,000 likes. But it seemed like, the meme post created like a real big buffer for anybody that wanted to talk about the leaks or kind of like dunk on them at all, and then it just was really, really clever marketing. Because usually brands on Twitter are awful.
And I don't know why, because the guys that work there are probably younger. They're obviously fans of the company in some instances. Most of them it's a job. But if you're going to have PR, you're going to have the guy who grew up talking massive shit about Sony for the last 10 years. That's the guy you hire. That's how you create a Wendy's Twitter account.
Yeah, it's definitely those people.
That's
that
how
are.
You make that.
Do you think at some point, like PR people on their resume, they're gonna post like tweets or YouTube comments or whatever that went super viral and are at like the top of the video? Yeah, I never thought about that until just now, but that's a really interesting thought.
Yeah, because if in order to create a viral video, if you had any part or your team was a part of, like, imagine if you're like, how do you land Red Bull, right? Like, you got to work a lot of Burger King tweets to get onto Red Bull, but like that's your screenshot, and I'm sure they can be like, here's a screenshot of the Burger King Twitter account, and it's just gonna say Burger King said, blah blah blah, and they're gonna say, call my boss, and he will verify that was me. That was me that got all those retweets. That was me that reached out to Twitter and said, let's team up on McDonald's for a week. You know what I mean? Like, those were my ideas.
Well, and so I was talking about this when I called into Ralph's show, Ethan's show. I can't remember. It was that Raging Humanist is Canadian, right?
Yes.
It was
There was Canadian Monday, and then there was Raging Humanist was Wednesday.
Yeah, I can't remember who. I feel so bad because I forgot the guy's name, and he was so hilarious. But I was talking to him, and I was like, you know, it's so hard to account for the normies, the majority of people that are just completely, they have no idea what's going on except for what is going to please themselves next. Like, they're literally just going through life just from one instance of selfishness to the next. And I feel like that's the big herd mentality that's so easily manipulated by radical lefts and radical right people, both sides.
Yeah.
Like, have I asked you the skinhead question?
No.
When I say skinhead, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Just someone who doesn't have hair.
Really?
Like, I don't consider it like a Nazi thing,
But people would, right?
no, the average person imagines,
like a American History X type character.
A white trash version of that. That's how if you're gonna picture skinhead, I imagine someone who, jeans, wife beater t-shirt, suspenders, missing a tooth, like one or two teeth, skinhead, 3-day scruffy beard, some real fucking cheap, shitty tattoos.
The boots, right? The pants tucked into the boots and
Yeah,
the boots.
yeah, gotta do the boots if you're going for that route. But like, that's how I picture it. Or at most, you're gonna have American History X. You're never gonna have what is the reality of the internet of a clean-cut guy wearing a polo with a hair that if you saw him out in public, you would think he could be the weatherman for the local station.
Right. So
those are the guys that are leading those guys in Stormfront. It's not actual skinhead.
True. Exactly. And so let me give you a little bit of a history lesson here. The skinhead movement, basically exactly what you just described, the whole aesthetic of it. It started in the UK. Oh God. 60s or 70s.
Punk, right?
Yeah, exactly. During the punk era. So it was about ska music, which is, you know, Jamaican music. And what happened is they were very edgy, though, especially for their time. So what a skinhead in that attire that you just described, he might have even had like an SS uniform on, but he did a Roman salute, and there was a picture of it that circulated. And after that happened, the media started saying, you know, skinhead gang does this, racist skinheads that, da-da-da-da-da, and actual Nazis at the time, well, you know, not actual Nazis, but people that have that type of belief system. Neo-Nazi, yeah. They co-opted, essentially, the skinhead movement and split it into two parts. You know, people that, basically like the left and right, they've got like skinheads against fascism, and also, you know, the normal, or what people would perceive as the normal skinhead. But anyways, the exact same thing is happening right fucking now with BLM and Antifa. It's the exact same thing. For the past 3 years, BLM was a pretty much, you know, non-entity. They had, you know, their celebrity endorsements. They put on some demonstrations, but, you know, nothing of the scale that's been happening now. And you can see when Black Lives Matter posted that list of demands or their goals or what have you, and one of them was it was all Marxist shit, like destroying the nuclear family, destroying the patriarchy, you know, destroying the upper and middle classes, shit like that. And it's so crazy how that happens, where anytime anything that's typically well-intentioned, regardless of its validity, as soon as it gets to a point of popularity, someone comes in and injects their politics with it. And you would think that is, you know, a modern thing because of Gamergate and stuff like that. But it's been happening the whole time. And I bet there's even instances of that sort of thing happening before skinheads.
Oh, God, yeah.
So it's weird to watch history repeat itself, and it's weird to watch the normie masses do the same stupid shit over and over again.
I would make the argument, considering some of BLM's origins, that maybe that's what it was kind of going towards all along. I would kind of lean towards that to a degree. But if let's say that it wasn't, okay, and then you have the radicalization within BLM has now become the face of BLM as a whole. Even if Antifa is not working with them, they are always going to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
As with any politician, any celebrity, anyone chasing clout, anyone is going to jump on that dick and just say like, "Oh, Black Lives Matter," and you're like, I mean, yeah, like all lives matter. Like, no, black ones, and you're like, whatever, But like, you're always going to have like, even if it's well intentioned, it's always going to be just so messy because you can't have like, look at what they're doing. Like, you have BLM, you have Antifa, you have Black Trans Lives Matter. Somewhere in the middle of this, you have LGB is trying to fit into all of this mess for the last couple of months.
Somewhere, yeah, wherever they happen to fall in the political spectrum.
Yeah, all they can do since they lost Gay Pride Month was just pray that Black trans lives will matter and they can jump on that bandwagon, because they've lost it this year. You want to talk about some mad fucking gays? They have lost. It started with Gay Month and it went downhill for them. They have lost the entire year.
Yeah, which it's funny you should say that, because earlier this year the Chris D'Elia thing kind of popped off. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I got a theory on that, but go ahead.
It was all bullshit. Like, you could tell it was spun out of proportion, but it's like everybody's too focused on COVID and everybody's too focused on racial shit, but we need to cancel someone right now because people need to pay attention to us.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of people who it's the built up, they find an easy target, and you just have a mob run after it that wouldn't normally go after a target. I do think the other end of that is you do have people who are targeting, they can't get Rogan, so they will hit the people around him. So you have D'Elia, which is, oh my god, likes 18-year-olds. And some of them accidentally were a little bit young. That's my theory on it. I think if you're throwing dick in every city, sooner or later you're going to throw it in the wrong direction, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, who'd they get? Like, they went after Callan, nothing stuck. They went after, what's his name, the boxer, or the ex-MMA fighter.
Oh, that
Nothing happened
motherfucker.
with him.
You want to hear a story about him? Do you know Beige Frequency, the YouTuber?
No.
So Beige Frequency, and this will give you a cool Joe Rogan perspective too. Beige Frequency did a video on Brendan Schaub's comedy special, because he did a lot of Anthony Cumia stuff, a lot of Opie and Anthony stuff, a lot of Joe Rogan stuff, a lot just comedians in general. He did a video on Brendan Schaub that was really critical of his comedy and his MMA fighting.
Is he a comedian?
Fuck no.
Is he a comedian?
Well, he's trying to be. But
no, are we talking Schaub or are we talking the YouTuber?
Oh, the YouTuber is not. No, I don't. Well, I mean, he's entertain. He's an entertainer for sure. I don't know that he probably maybe he does stand up. I mean, he's got a good eye for it.
Well, okay, but he's not. But I'm saying he's not.
Yeah, that's not his brand per se.
Okay, go ahead.
So he did this video and it gets copy struck almost immediately because he put a section of the McGregor Mayweather fight in it just for. I don't know why he put it in there, but it was for some contextual reason. So he's like, okay, whatever, this is usual DMCA bullshit. He takes that section out and re-uploads the video. Sans McGregor Mayweather content. And once he does that, it gets copy struck again, but by this time it's Bent Pixels Media, which is
okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, I can't remember the name of Rogan's company that protects him, but it's Bent Pixel. So yeah, there you go. You answered my question on that one.
Yeah, there you go. So whether or not, the question is, how involved is Joe Rogan in the random, searchings of the internet to find copyrighted content or whatever? But it's clear that if he did watch Beige's video, it would have hurt his fifis. And I don't think it's reckless to think that he said go ahead and take it down.
I think at the end of the day, you're gonna have people around him that protect him. There's no way that let's say he has, on the high end, 8 people at that office, between security and Jamie, and Jamie has a helper to a degree behind the scenes. Let's say that he has bent pixels. Now, obviously, you can make the argument that the same Twitter argument, right? Like Jack Dorsey doesn't openly endorse certain conspiracies of how people on the right aren't censored, but people on the left are just given free reign. Whereas you could say, well, Joe Rogan doesn't censor this; it's bent pixels. But at the end of the day, he probably had to set up parameters. Like, if anyone is using my content, I want you to blanketly strike it across the board. And my understanding was that there was not a lot of examples that were positive of Joe Rogan, but there were some.
Yeah.
Was my understanding on this. That there were a couple that should have been struck and they were left up, where people who did the exact same thing on a negative light over any one of the Joe Rogan sphere were struck down, was my understanding. I would say at some point they probably have to protect the brand, right?
Sure.
The brand being Joe Rogan.
And all of his, little minions. But Brendan Schaub was a terrible UFC fighter and a terrible comedian. I just want to also point that out.
I'll defend it to the degree that, like, I think he put a lot of heart into that stand-up special. I don't think it was much of a stand-up special as much of it was a story. But with that said, around the Joe Rogan sphere, I will defend Joey Diaz every fucking day of the week.
Every fucking day, son. That is a real motherfucker if I've ever heard one. The way he talks about shit, especially like some of the criminal elements, you can just tell it's legit. You can tell pretty easily, especially if you've been around criminals or lowlifes or whatever. You can tell, like, he doesn't leave out any of the scumbag shit that he did.
I've been following since Acid Church. I got hooked on him back when he was doing Acid Church. So
there's a shit ton of episodes of that now, right?
He's on the Church of What's Happening Now, but it's over.
Oh, I got you.
He moved. But he just released a back, I think it was like 2003 or 2004. It's the famed testicle testament that everyone's heard about, right? Well, he released it on YouTube in 4 parts. So chapter 1 is 4 parts, and it's the full story of him kidnapping that guy, of everything that went up, that happened before and after.
Hell yeah.
And it's crazy to me to hear him tell the story, and it's over 10 years old. And someone showed up to a comedy show, and they didn't get exactly what they had in their mind, but they heard a really cool story from a comedian that night, and they had no idea that they were listening to the first special he would drop after he dropped his podcast. When he said, "I'm moving, I'm canceling the podcast, I've got to do this, blah blah blah." It's crazy to me to think that there was someone sitting there that night saying, "I'm not laughing enough, I don't like this." That's like someone had to be there for Richard Pryor's first album, and they were like, "This guy is crazy. I think he's just smoking crack and he's not that funny." And it's like, do you know who the fuck you're standing in front of? You realize in 30 years, we will look back to this album and say, this is fucking gold. This is the fucking standard for this shit.
Yeah, somebody's definitely going to look at my show like that, for sure. They're going to be like, oh, man, this guy, he didn't even know what he was doing. And then it's not going to be Joe Rogan anymore. It's going to be some anonymous American asshole just getting the real deep cuts. No, I think I'm gonna just ride this show into the apocalypse, and then, maybe someday an alien life form will find it, and it'll get somehow interdimensionally transferred, and that'll be that. It'll be a little historical context of what happened right before the apocalypse.
Man, like, think about it. There is a real good chance this is the last podcast that was recorded before, like, the rapture or, like, nuclear fallout. You know what I mean? Like someone has to make that show.
That's true. That is true. I wonder if I could get this. It's a little long. It's kind of a long show, but I wonder if I could get this put on some sort of physical media, like a fucking LP or something like that.
How long can you do? Well, okay, VHS, you can do the 8 hours on low quality. When you hit the switch on the side, you could do the shitty low quality one VHS.
That's a funny
thought. That'd be totally based. Yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? Like, you have images on screen, right? So why not do that?
It's
There's
probably
some
a lot.
Fucking indie hipster fuck that isn't full blown fucking Antifa who just wants to do heroin all day. They can be like, hey, I want this podcast on this VHS tape, and he's like, I got it, $40.
And some heroin.
Fucking $40, man. I'm not giving you both. I mean,
one or the other, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, like, how cool would that be to give your fucking kid? Like, have a kid, look back 30 fucking years. Nah, fuck that. 50 years on your deathbed, be like, this is Daddy's first podcast.
Well, at your funeral.
Just for your kid to look at you. Yeah.
Just have it playing.
Yeah, and like that way, is one or two things gonna happen. Be like, dude, my dad was pretty fucking radicalized.
Yeah, he's a little too base.
Yeah, or your kid's gonna be full fucking Waffenhausen and be like, fucking pussy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this guy people were so soft back in the day. They were so scared to say certain words and certain actions. They had to hide their identity.
Yeah, before the Great Race War, we all earned our fucking stripes. General Andy Worski rode in on the fucking in-horse and saved the day at the last minute.
Saint Dick Masterson, blessed be his name, defending all kinds of crazy shit the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, just raining fucking acid tablets from the fucking heavens.
Oh, hell yeah. That is an interesting thought. You were talking about, do you watch The Dick Show?
No, I have limited time, so I mostly stick to Raging Humanist, Joey Diaz, The Kill Stream, and then in between I sprinkle like Hoovie's Garage for cars and then one or two gun channels.
Yeah, that's a pretty pretty hefty amount. Excuse me. Anyways, his last show, I'm gonna pull this up on screen. There was a guy who, the only reason I'm doing this is because he said a phrase that I had not heard before and I really, really like. So Dick Masterson, I guess he was just, being satirical on Twitter, and he's like, I think Houston deserved the floods, something to that effect. It brought them all closer together or whatever. And so the guy that I'm about to tell you about, he said to Dick Masterson, if you come to Texas, I'm going to send your bitch ass to the doom dimension. And when I first...
To the doom dimension.
Yeah, when I first heard that, I just laughed out loud, and I was like, I got to start saying that. Well, I Googled it. It's some Bakugan bullshit. But yeah, I love that phrase. Anyways, this poor man, this poor unfortunate soul, he has a hernia that is causing his intestines to slide into his ball sack. And initially it was the size of a pea and it wasn't very painful, but apparently in the last little bit he has had to reinsert his intestines sometimes multiple times an hour, and they will come out in the size from a golf ball to a ping pong ball. And he doesn't have insurance, so I'm just shilling his GoFundMe right now. He only needs $3,350. which for a GoFundMe, you know, that's not too much. And I mean, bro, if your intestines were sliding into your ball sack multiple times a day, I would want someone to let people know.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Yeah, post that and I'll
But yeah, it's just the GoFundMe link is kind of long, but if you just Google "Don't bust my balls hernia repair," you'll be able to find it. But that's a
I know very
nice
little
thing.
about hernia. As a guy, I should know more about hernias. All I know is they scare the fuck out of me. I don't want to ever get them. And I know sometimes your intestines go places they shouldn't go. And that's fucking horrifying to me.
Absolutely terrifying. And it's not something that will go away on its own. You almost always need surgical intervention. So yeah, if anybody listens to this, go give that motherfucker some money. All right.
So you're talking about testicles. I don't remember what the fuck I was listening to, but they were talking about a doctor. Swear to God, it was Raging Humanist. I may have been wrong ago. And I forgot what the name of it is, but it's when a girl takes her finger and places it between your testicles and shoves her finger back up inside you to where your balls drop from.
That little like magical cave in your fucking
the magical
pubic
cave
region.
that, I guess that like your balls came from in, third grade when they dropped or whatever the fuck ever it is. But like, yeah, there's a name for that. And there was a doctor who was like, in all my years, I've never had any injuries. And you're like, well, if there's not nerve endings, it can't feel good. It can only feel bad for pressure. I'm very confused on who figured this out.
Yeah, that is strange. And I think this guy, I don't remember if he said, I think it might have been like a genetic kind of thing where his abdominal wall didn't form exactly right, and then when he did get a hernia, it started to cause this type of thing, but who knows.
I know you can be prone to them. I do know that because I knew a guy in high school that had issues with his, like, the belly button hair thing, and it was like his doctor, like, he always knew it was to be an issue.
Yeah, that's a horrifying fucking thought. I've had some issues like that where it's like a medical issue that's completely unavoidable. That to be honest, if this happened in like the Old West or the Civil War or some shit, probably would have killed me. But requires an emergency room, and it's just sometimes it happens, and there's nothing you can really do about it.
Nice.
Terrifying. Speaking about weird medical shit, AstraZeneca, the pharmaceutical company, they are developing the COVID-19 vaccine. And I'll read this little portion from a Reuters article. AstraZeneca has been granted protection from future product liability claims related to its COVID-19 vaccine, hopeful by most of the countries it has so far struck supply agreements with, a senior executive told Reuters. So that's real comforting. Who would have thought that the anti-vaxxers had a point? That they weren't completely full of shit.
I absolutely stupid as shit. In any way, can you make the argument that because we've lifted some precautions surrounding it, that this is why they have allowed them to do it? Because we've said, hey, go full steam ahead, don't worry about precautions and proper protocol, that you guys can just go crazy. Like, isn't that the counter argument, right?
Yeah, but I mean, what happens if this vaccine starts killing people? Who's going to be held responsible if the person that actually made it and distributed it and did all the business deals and shit can't be held liable?
Can't you? Well, I guess you couldn't sue the doctor. Well, I mean, you could, but the doctor would just sue them, and then
it's just there's no real recourse for it. It's not so much. It's like I'll put it like this. Alex Jones is really big against what's called a substance called glyphosate. It's a Roundup weed killer.
So, it's fucking horrendous.
Yeah, so the
best video was that fucking guy saying he would drink it, and they called him. He wasn't fucking drinking.
Yeah,
All
so,
right, then.
well, because if you Google it, everything will say that it's completely safe. But guess what happened? A guy died. I'm going to look this up real quick just to be sure. But a guy died. I'm pretty sure it was cancer of some sort. And he was a farmer. And he... Oh, shit. This is hard to find. But I believe he was a farmer. So he probably used it a lot of, on a regular basis,
Pure
probably breathed it
concentration.
in. Yeah, concentrated amounts. He had to mix it and shit. But Bayer, I don't remember how much he exactly got paid, but Bayer has settled $11 billion worth of settlements from glyphosate. So yeah, it's completely safe, and yet they're paying that much money to have it. Probably have people sign non-disclosure agreements, agree to not sue again. And I mean, these are people's lives. This isn't just like, oh, it may cause some skin irritation that might lead to some condition that will still affect you for the rest of your life, but isn't death. It's
There's no telling
heavy
how
shit.
many NDAs are sold. Now, like the argument is, if you handle anything in concentrated form, we're talking Roundup is safe, right? Like that's the end product. But what about the concentrated form? Like there's no way that's safe, right?
Yeah,
Or if it
and
is in short doses, maybe. But if you work around it all day, look at asbestos, look at brake dust, hell, look at aluminum.
yeah,
Look at
for sure.
drywall. All those things are like, if you do it in your house, it's fine. If you do it for a living, well, it's a different story. Concrete. Fucking
Yeah.
cutting concretes.
Drywall.
Fuck. When I worked I used to be a veterinarian surgical technician. So, bone dust. Bone dust is a great way to get cancer in the lungs. When you're cutting that shit with a fucking saw, I mean, yeah, you have to have all kind of fucking ventilation because it's a
Carcinogen.
It's a carcinogen. There you go. That's a fucking word.
Yeah, the same thing with
dangerous.
like glass. Like people that work in frame shops and stuff, you can get a condition called silicosis where you breathe in glass dust, but it just stays in your lungs. So yeah, it's something as simple as glass under the right conditions can fuck you up for life. Much less a chemical that is designed to destroy the DNA of plants.
I wonder if old school, 1400 sailors, like 1400 the year 1400 sailors had similar issues in their lungs. People who work with glass.
Yeah, I mean, I bet they did.
Sailors today, right? Or like open deck Somalians.
From the glass?
No, from sand.
Oh, sand.
I mean, right? Same argument. If you're always standing in the elements.
Damn, yeah, there's a lot. Pellagra, the disease?
No.
It's just a vitamin deficiency you get from eating basically the only time it's happened is the Great Depression, where people only ate corn products and they had a big vitamin deficiency, but it causes your limbs to swell up, and then it's an incredibly painful thing. And that's just from not eating the right stuff. The scurvy.
Look at was it you can cure scurvy by gin and tonic. It was the tonic that fixed. Was it scurvy?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it was it was something like that where there was something in. I'm sure someone's listening to this and screaming at me, but yeah, gin and tonic does fix something like scurvy because it throws your body a nutrient that you were previously lacking when you're only eating hardtack all day, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Sometimes just a little bit of diversity in your diet can be all it can take. The body is so crazy at adapting to stuff like that.
It's like McDonald's shouldn't be ate every day.
Thank you. That brings us to our next topic. Do you know Travis Scott, the rapper?
I know his little Tesla video, but
so I guess he did a deal with McDonald's. And,
okay, is this the $10,000 receipt?
I don't know. I really haven't looked into it too much.
Okay.
Golly, I really
think
need to
that's
go
something else.
through these tabs in a specific way because I jump around too much.
I think unrelated. Someone took his order and they had his slip on his burger, and it was like, no ketchup, the Travis Scott. It was what it says, and it's on eBay for like $10,000.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So either someone works at McDonald's and they were like, "Fuck it, they're never gonna know,"
Yeah, I'm just
or
gonna
it
keep
actually
this.
was his. Yeah, maybe it was his, but it's like, look, if he's not holding it in a picture on, like, if you sell me the picture of him on Instagram holding this receipt, I might throw money at it if I was a big Travis Scott fan. But
Yeah, you got to be able to authenticate it somehow. Anybody that's ever watched Pawn Stars knows this.
the famous glasses from what's his name that drove the Porsche and died. God damn it! Fuck.
I'm not too into
Anyways.
motorsports, but yeah, a lot of people have died in motorsport.
Yeah, he had like these famous glasses, these famous sunglasses he always had carried. Well, the ones that his estate sold weren't even his, and it came out later on that he never owned that pair, but they were just at the house, and they sold them for like $10,000 because it was his, allegedly, which he did own it, but he was not known for wearing them in the pictures. Yeah, it's.
Oh, I see what kind of glasses there are. Lewis Hamilton? No, he's not dead.
No, he's alive. Hang on, I'll look it up. It's the cursed Porsche. John Dean.
John Dean. Yep, I've not heard of him, but that doesn't surprise me. That's kind of crazy that they shit on that man's death like that, but that's how it goes.
Well, it's his estate. So what happened with Travis Scott?
So this I have on screen. It's just a meme. It's a like it looks like just a regular McDonald's cheeseburger with a Xanax bar on top of it. But anyways, Travis Scott did a collaboration with McDonald's, and it's a like quarter pounder with cheese with bacon and lettuce, a Sprite, barbecue sauce, and French fries. So it's nothing crazy, but if I was
slightly racist,
yeah. If I was had any kind of, that dude sold his soul, man. McDonald's is straight poison. It's not, obesity is a real issue in this country, just overall health in general. And I feel like if you eat food like that, it does something to your brain. It won't just make you fat, but all of the processed food, because people that eat that, they get the marketing that's involved with it too. They've proven that people that view the golden arches of the M&M thing, it lights their brain up in their hunger area. So people associate this food that's bad for you with a good feeling because it tastes good and it's food. Anytime you eat, you're gonna enjoy that. But it's gross.
But isn't the argument that you associate as an American or any country that has capitalism in it, that you would associate McDonald's arches with food? Therefore, food is pleasure. Therefore, if you actually eat fast food, you would be like, man, that'd be really good right now. So I know what you're getting at, but I think that you also should remember that we are in a very capitalist. If you live in the first world, you know what McDonald's is, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just the amount of psychology that goes into the marketing.
Oh, yeah, because they do the colors too, right?
Yeah, the yellow and red. That's why Wendy's and Burger King have yellow and red in their a lot of food places. Which is
different than Arby's. Arby's uses darker colors because it's supposed to be a 3-star restaurant, a 2-star.
Yeah, so
Fuddruckers is 5.
Oh, what? Something happened to Fuddruckers, didn't it?
No, but I don't know. I never ate there. But I'm saying like Fuddruckers is a 5-star restaurant. Arby's is like a 3-star restaurant. Chick-fil-A would be like 3, and then McDonald's and Burger King are like 2.
That's interesting. Chick-fil-A makes more money per square foot than any other fast food service restaurant. It actually only takes $10,000.
How is this confusing to me?
Huh?
Well, I guess they charge more, and they have.
It's their employees. I worked there one time. It's straight slave labor.
But it's Christian slave labor.
That's
So
true.
You should be happy you're a part of that, right?
It definitely will give you a good work ethic. But it only costs $10,000 to start a Chick-fil-A franchise. It's just very, very competitive because everybody wants to. But they'll do the location, they'll do the actual store, they'll do, they'll get you started with the ingredients, like everything, for just $10,000. But you have to do whatever you have to do. There's a class you have to take and a long interview process. Like, they don't want degens running Chick-fil-A.
I don't blame them. It hurts the brand.
But
Like,
yeah.
me as a person, I like when I'm traveling, which is whatever. But like Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell. Taco Bell's half and half. Some of them are awesome. Some of them are the worst fucking places on the planet.
That's accurate.
But like Chick-fil-A, Quick Trip, which is a Georgia thing, and the clean Taco Bells. You can walk in there, get everything perfect, be completely satisfied, and leave happy. Guaranteed. As long as it's not a ghetto-ass Taco Bell, they will get your food right and you don't have to check it. McDonald's, on the other hand, is completely different. But, like, that's why I spend the extra money for Chick-fil-A, because I don't have to worry about if it's right. I just show up, tell them what I want, and I leave, and everything's perfect. It's smooth. They're happy. I don't have to worry about them spitting in my face or throwing a drink at me because I'm like, hey, can I have, like, my straw? You know what I mean?
Right.
You do that at McDonald's, you might get a cup thrown at you.
Well,
like, hey, can I have my straw? Shaniqua will try to beat your ass through that window.
Oh my God,
know your fucking place, pleb. She will fuck you up.
There was a SNL skit that's probably would be seen as extremely racist today. I think it was Bon Qui Qui or something like that, but she was like, we got a complicated order, and then like security comes and beats the shit out of the guy, like when they ask for just like the slightest change. The cool thing about Taco Bell, I don't know if you know this, you can customize every single thing on that menu to however you want it. Like if you want a chicken chalupa, you can do that.
Yeah, because I just now started using the app, which of course, shout out at Taco Bell, it won't take my fucking card.
Oh, I bet you bank where I bank, because they don't take my fucking card either. They have to like run it as credit or something. Don't say it. Don't say it.
No, I'll talk to you in DMs. But like, there's another person I know that doesn't use my bank, that uses another bank, and it won't take hers.
They're probably saving a lot of money, and whatever processor they use probably doesn't charge as much of a fee. But next time,
every vape shop, they're like, hey, can you run that? Or like every Indian gas station, they're like, hey, can you run that as credit, not debit, bro? It like saves me 1%. You're like, but I don't want to like put my, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to do this or the other. Like, I don't like being told how to run my car.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Like, it's not my fucking problem with your 1%.
Yeah,
vape
it's
shops
honestly.
And tattoo shops are like cash only goddamn half the time anyway.
That's true, yeah.
Bad enough going to those fucking places.
When next time you go to Taco Bell, get a steak or a chicken power bowl and ask them to wrap it in a tortilla. Top fucking tier. It's like $4 for the burrito, but it's so good.
I like tricking McDonald's because like egg and cheese biscuit they sell. They don't sell the egg and cheese McGriddle. So McGriddle is the only thing I will eat at McDonald's. But goddamn, it's such a food pleasure. I can't stop myself. Like once every 2 months, I'll go there and I'll get sick as hell afterwards, and I will feel sick until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it is almost worth it.
Yeah, I feel you on that
but
one.
If you can
McDonald's
get them to make something that's
been
not
legendary.
I miss the old cinnamon rolls, man. The square ones, not the circle ones, the square ones. Them were the cheap, shitty ones from like, I don't know, late 90s.
Fell off a truck somewhere, yeah.
They disappeared. All the good stuff, they don't make them.
I really don't like how they changed the McNuggets. And the fucking McDouble isn't $1 anymore. That fucking pisses me off to no end.
Taco Bell's doing the same thing too, right?
What, they're getting rid of their $1 menu?
Yeah, the $1 shredded chicken mini quesadilla is like $1. Now they're getting rid of it. They're getting rid of like 5.
No, dude,
items.
why did you have to fucking tell me? Fuck, dude. I hope I didn't just destroy people's ears. That's my favorite thing. That is my favorite
Yeah, no,
thing.
that's what I get. That's what I always get.
Oh,
That's the only fast food I can eat that is not like heavy in grease and it's just bleh. But like
that
I can
toasted
eat that and it
tortilla, bruh. That sauce, bruh.
Okay, so the ones by you, do you like so like different locations around here, it's $1, and then other ones it's like somewhere between $1.30 and $1.50, depending on what side of town you're on, okay? But like I've been to some places where it's like $1.30 and they use the same amount of chicken as the dollar place. But in other places, instead of like the normal amount, you pay like $1.50 for that thing, and they use twice the amount of chicken, and instead of rolling it up like a cheap joint, they make it like a real fat square and make it all nice and neat. And you're like, I don't mind paying $1.50 for this, man. You guys hook this shit up fat.
So the funny thing is,
those places.
the place that I go to, it does the square one. It's like rectangular, but it's only $1. So I'm getting the best of both worlds over there.
Never forget that place. Always go to that place, dude.
And you're right, the square
30 minutes from
is
my house to get
much
the right
better.
one.
Much better. I've actually never had it in a roll form, but I guarantee it wouldn't be as good.
No, because like if they can roll it up in a circle, it's like small, and then it's automatically less chicken. Like it's just like, what is it like?
Getting real deep Taco Bell cuts in here.
Yeah, because like I get it with no sauce. That way, that's how I eat it.
Light sauce over here. Yeah, because sometimes they are a little heavy-handed.
Yeah, like I don't do sour cream. I don't do that fake jizz, so I can't have the shit in my face. Disgusting.
All right, fast food is the devil. Let's see what else we got on here. Did you see the guy that got arrested for slapping the shit out of the protester? Golly, where was it?
No.
I don't know where this was. I feel shitty. But it's only 14 seconds. I'm just going to play it real quick. But this guy, dude, he's this huge dude, and he just basically tackles this little Antifa guy and just bitch slaps him twice. And he ended up getting arrested later on.
This. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've heard of it.
I'll link it to you so you can enjoy that later. All right, let's see here. Get this image out of the way. This dude's a tank. Oh. He literally choke slams this guy, and then it's so funny because he really could have just laid into him. The guy was completely vulnerable on his back, basically, and he just bitch slaps him 2 times instead of he's just like, wake up, man.
I really thought that this was going to go another direction. Because, like, there was a horde behind him, yeah?
Yeah, and there's a dude, like, with an American flag that's running behind him.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I've seen that shit.
I
saw this morning.
The cops were right there. That's the only reason, is because basically as soon as that happened, and after they're just kind of, it's not physical anymore, they're just yelling at each other, the cops come and they tackle the dude and they arrest him and everybody that was around him and stuff. Luckily, they weren't held too long in jail. They either bonded out or had the charges dropped or whatever. So
what city was this?
That's what I gotta find out.
Because, I mean, like, with that, you're like, okay, so we can do these protests the right way. Like, you can protest, blah, blah, blah. You start getting a little bit handsy while you do some time. Like, I'm kind of okay with this. Like, what I'm not okay with is just, it's like, just no consequences. You want to punch a fucking cop and get arrested, or, not arrested, but get stopped 3 times for having weapons. Well, I'll just cut you loose.
Yeah. Yep, it's weird how everything changes from place to place.
Well, it's different cities, different mayors, different DAs.
Let's see.
It's also very different, if you're in a red state and you start cutting protesters loose, you're not getting reelected. Even if you're doing this for political gain, you're not going to get reelected in a red state if you're just cutting these boys loose.
Yeah, I will have to find it because it's not in the Twitter comments anywhere. But I do remember seeing a couple posts that described it. But yeah, the dude's an absolute tank. Good for him. Good for him for showing restraint. You know, he could have really just ended that dude. Could have really seriously injured him, but you know, was cool enough to hold back. Which, you know, you really shouldn't let people get you to the point of violence unless you know it's your life. But if you're gonna do it, he did it the right way. Probably
Talk
worth the
about
arrest.
violence, right or wrong. Talk about what's his name that did. He was talking about how he had PTSD from seeing trucks with flags.
Oh my god, yeah, so
Yeah, you
dumb.
remember
It's
that?
like
Yeah, because
that was
I
that Jacob
skimmed
Reinhold
through.
guy. Yeah, he
Yeah,
goes.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
like
I forgot to say
anytime,
that earlier.
anytime I see a guy with a big truck and especially a flag on it, I feel like they're out to get me. That's it's so stupid.
You're
dude.
like, yeah, that's not the meth going to your head about that maybe you're in the paranoia stage. But like, if you're looking at a truck, something the F-150 is the most
Badass
sold vehicle in
motherfucker.
America. Look, I mean, it's the most sold vehicle in America. Or it was for a couple of years. I think it may have got replaced by the Camry or so.
This is the
Like,
toy
that's half
gun.
the rental fleet. Anyways, so most common construction truck, you have guys that spray bug spray for a living that have F-150 for their company work truck, right?
Right.
If you're getting PTSD for what is arguably the most recognized pickup truck on the road, I think the issue is you, not society.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, imagine if you just had a work truck, which is typically white, roll up windows, normal stripped package.
Maybe
cars,
extended cab if you're lucky.
Yeah, maybe. If you're lucky, yeah. If your work likes you. And this jackass shoots your truck because he mistakes the American flag that's part of the company wrap that is required on the vehicle because it's a company vehicle. And it's just like, I install carpet for a living and the carpet's made in America. And this skinhead tweaker sees an American flag on a white pickup truck and just opens fire on you as you're on the way to Quick Trip to take a piss and go get a morning burrito. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is insanity.
Well, it's like people have gotten real fast and loose with a lot of psychological illnesses, I guess you'd say. They'd be like, oh, I'm OCD about this, or I have, ADHD, or just because, your attention span has been shortened so much. Or but PTSD is the same way. People will say they have PTSD over any little thing, and what's really unfortunate is it discounts the people that have real PTSD, because those range from rape victims to soldiers to firefighters to police officers that have seen the worst that humanity can have to offer. And you're concerned because a symbol of badass America is something that you don't like to look at. It's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about how watered down the term rape has gotten. There's a guy, I Hypocrite, which is a deep cut for the kill stream. He was a guest years ago. I Hypocrite he does like compilation videos and social discussions of psychology of America. One of the videos he aired this week was this them thing discussing the dangers of secondhand rape. And you're like, is there really a term that's been more watered down by the left than the word rape? Like, you have people who have been legitimately raped who are now scoffed at because I was raped by Trump.
Yeah,
he raped
stupid.
my rights from me and caused, America to be a bigot. And you're like, I don't understand how any of this is a thing. It is just word salad. Just throwing any word that's longer than 6 characters, just throwing them at a person, and then maybe it'll make googly gop sentence. And then they'll be like, oh yeah. Like, that's why I have PTSD, because Trump raped me with his mean words because he kills black people. And
It's-
you're like, I have no idea what the fuck that sentence is.
It's almost at
Explain
like
that to me.
it's almost at like psyop levels. Like somebody
Yeah, well,
somebody
yeah.
conditioned people to behave this way, and it's like how you can't trust sources anymore. You can barely even trust the meaning of their words.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yeah,
see
it's
here.
just with the
So
the average journalist, whatever, is just kept pushing that limit. And it started off as little small things, and now it's progressed to whatever it has now. And things are always going to escalate. It's always shock value, shock sells.
yeah, especially in the media. So speaking of shock value, and also subversion and trying to get people to operate in a certain way. A 12-year-old boy has been suspended for having a toy gun he never brought to school. Isaiah Elliott attends Grand Mountain, a K-8 grade school south of Colorado Springs. The 7th grader was attending an online art class when a teacher saw Isaiah flash a toy gun across his computer screen. The toy in question is a neon green and black handgun with an orange tip with the words Zombie Hunter printed on the side. This is the part that blows my mind. The teacher notified the school principal, who suspended Isaiah for 5 days, and called the El Paso County Sheriff's Office to conduct a welfare check on the boy without calling his parents first. Can you fucking believe that? This is why I'm talking about the police have too much shit on their plate. All of this nonsense and bullshit that they have to deal with.
The police are already half DEA agents. They're gang squads. They're defects workers. They're name a thing, and that's them nowadays. And now you have a teacher who, let's assume, despite the fact that a lot of teachers are a little bit left leaning, let's assume that she meant well. She didn't know the gun was fake.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I don't believe it is.
Well, because I will say the gun is basically a scale model of, let's see.
It's a 1911.
It's a. Is it a night? It's either.
Sophie Norwitz found the gun itself. It was on her thread of it. It was the third.
It is.
Down.
Yeah, it is a 1911. I see where the safety is, but it's got it's got that beaver tail that a lot of Beretta M9s have.
Okay, yeah, maybe it was it.
It's probably mostly a 1911, and then it's just a toy, so they added some shit or whatever. But I mean, it's got
2 days ago, but yeah,
it's got the orange tip, and it's got the lime green slide, which I suppose people would do that, but
but but the average person doesn't do that. You're talking everyone has seen a Stormtrooper AR-10 build. You know what I mean? Everyone's seen it, or the Nerf, Kimber, or the Nerf 1911. You know what I mean? Nerf revolvers, the steampunk Glocks. But how many of those things are actually out in the world? Maybe 1,000 total. Maybe 1,000 of guns that are identical to a video game. Maybe 2,000. I'll be liberal. 2,000. Okay. The average person doesn't know that you can actually get a 1911 or a 92 FS in neon green and black, and it can look like something from an arcade game. So the average teacher who's not, let's just say the average person who's not gun literate, they should assume that is a toy gun, correct?
I would think. And even if you don't, why the fuck would you call the cops? Police don't even talk to police. Call the kid's parents and then go from there. The parents are the first line of protection.
But if she meant well, you can make... Now, my argument in it was, what if the dad's a cop and just sitting out in front? You assumed a lot. Now, with that said, if you are not right or left, and let's say that she meant well,
I'm sure her intentions were good.
That, let's assume. I hate to say this, but I do understand the concept of maybe we should call the cops and just say, look, there's a gun not in a safe near this kid who's possibly home alone, at least at the moment. You know what I mean? That's assuming that she's paid attention to this kid the entire class for 2 hours or however long the E class was, right?
Yeah.
But, like, you're assuming a lot of things. But, like, if her intentions were good, I can justify in my mind that she called the cops to say, look, can you just make sure that, like, that this kid's brother isn't selling drugs, you know, and leaving his loaded fucking gun near a kid?
Yeah,
Like,
I can see
understand that to a degree.
That makes
But
sense.
I cannot justify in any logical sense why this kid got in trouble for a toy gun.
Yeah,
Because I
after
can
the
tell
fact
you,
that
I
it
had
was...
toy guns when I was very young. Yeah, I have family members who are very young that have fucking toy guns, who are, you know, like nieces, nephews that are, fuck. Like, how old is your first Nerf gun? 4
Yeah,
or
and that's
5?
he's got. I think later on in this, if I
The
played the
kid's like
video,
12, right?
yeah, he's 12. He's got a collection of Nerf guns. He's into that sort of thing.
Okay, but like, how many kids have a older sibling? Will be sexist. You can sue me. A older brother. Okay? So if you have an older brother, you probably have a fucking Nerf gun in the house. So then you're exposed to your first Nerf gun at the age of what? 1, 2 years old? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's crazy to assume that that gun wasn't a Nerf gun. But let's say it's real. Why did the kid get in trouble? I don't understand this.
I don't either, and it's just that my whole thing. I understand like sending the police there for a welfare check, but I just try and never involve the police in anything unless it's an absolute necessity, and they could have given the parents a courtesy call to see what was going on. I guess though, you make a good fucking point because
doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Doesn't do that.
Well, like if let's say worst case scenario it was a real gun, then it would give them time to destroy evidence, that sort of thing.
Yeah, or put it up.
But yeah, the punishment after the fact, I guess, is the biggest issue with this, and the fact that they're demonizing any kind of thing that even resembles a firearm. Well, it really closely resembles a firearm, but they want these children to be scared.
Yeah, that's always been the thing with the left, or not the left, but like helicopter bomb, is always kids should not play with fake guns because if you play with a fake gun, whenever you see a real gun, you're going to play with it, and that's how kids die. That's the connecting the red lines halfway across the room, right? That's always been their argument
Like
against
the
toy guns.
satanic panic type thing. And I mean, there's another.
We both watched Massacre. Did you watch his thing on Satanic Panic?
Oh no, I didn't. But there's no one I would rather watch.
Go find the thing on Finder's Cult. Next time you have, it's like he did 2 streams on it. Just watch the first one. Second one, he talked to a guy who like wrote like a book on it. But the first stream was on the FBI document on how Satanic Panic was heavily pushed through the media and how there really was something going on. Regardless of what you think, there really was something going on, and the Satanic Panic was not entirely made up. A lot of it was, but there was in fact something there with the Finder's Cult, which possibly was a FBI honeypot gone entirely goddamn wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could almost tell you that for sure there was something going on, but I think I'll have to look into it more because I'm not as educated as I should be before I speculate on things like this.
No,
but
I'm saying, but
maybe
Panic, I get the reference.
Yeah, maybe, and then I was just using it in a broad term as like an overreaction to something. But I bet there was real satanic shit going on, and the Satanic Panic stuff was designed to distract from it. Everybody poo-poos it and discounts it, and that's the way the CIA works. They subvert counterculture and make everybody think that the rebels are counterculture and that they're different, when in reality they're controlled by the CIA to try and steer, you know, the general public's idea of morality.
Well, look at the original term conspiracy theorist. That was created by the government. Like, that's one of the oldest trick in the book, right?
Yeah, it's like flat Earth. Flat Earth is just a big distraction.
Yeah, flat Earth took over real quick after,
It was 9/11, wasn't it?
Yeah. A lot of stuff from 9/11 kind of started right before it started disappearing off YouTube, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. A lot of that stuff was seemingly replaced by flat Earth. Like, don't worry about JFK. Don't worry about, some of these other things. But flat Earth, look at these crazy fucks over here.
Definitely don't worry about MK Ultra.
Yeah, let's not worry about that. But going back to the fake guns, like, if you grew up around guns, then more than likely you had dads, uncles, brothers who were like, look, these things will fucking kill you. You cannot play with this. You have to have a education of guns at a young age. Even before you're exposed to actual guns, you are taught more than likely through Nerf guns, etc. Like, don't point that at someone's face. You don't point that. You don't play with that. You like, at some point,
general.
You're taught
good
you're
safety
taught to treat
rules.
a Nerf gun like a real gun.
Yeah, regardless of whether it's a real gun, because you'll build up that it's like a muscle memory kind of thing, kind of always sense of awareness. And so I guess when you say that, it makes me think like they sent the police to do the parents' job, in this case a little bit.
Case, right?
So I don't think the kid
deserves
deserves to die because his parents are shitty, and maybe they could have prevented it.
Agreed.
I just think
Agreed.
that, after watching stuff like Making a Murder, did you see that on Netflix?
I mean, I know the story.
Yeah, I mean that kid.
I watched most of To Make a Murder through God fucking damn it. What's the comedian, the Joe Rogan? Your Mom's House?
Oh,
Tom Segura.
Yeah, Tom Segura, yeah.
Yeah, I watched most of To Catch a Killer through like 5 episodes of Your Mom's House when he was making fun of the fucking retarded wrestling kid.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that because Tom Segura is one of the Joe Rogan troupe that I can actually get down with. He's pretty hilarious.
I like his stand up, not his podcast. Joey Diaz, I fucking adore all fucking day long, and that's about it.
But I mean, this 16-year-old
kid. Take a bullet for Lee Syatt. I might take a bullet for Lee. I'm not entirely sure, but I might. Hey, but that's it.
What do you think about Theo Von?
I mean, he's okay. I have listened to his podcast. I've listened to him talk, on occasion. I like him. I think that he is working through some things. The last time I listened to like a couple episodes of his, I think he's just, kind of finding himself, and I think he's had some things happen in his life, and I think that's incredibly weird that I know that much about someone I don't know. You know what I mean?
So when you listen to his podcasts where he has a guest are exceptional. The podcasts where it's just him, they're okay, and they're
except
like,
Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee is Down syndrome personified.
Oh, you don't like Bobby Lee?
Except him, we're good.
He's a little bit like sweaty and grotesque. I'm surprised Theo Von hasn't been canceled because he said some spicy shit. But yeah, like you were saying, it's crazy the window that you get into his life through that podcast. It's pretty emotional sometimes.
Yeah, but that's what a lot of people see in him is they're like, dude, he's just like me. You know what I mean? That's the argument for listening to some people really open themselves up like that way, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. And he's honest. I mean, the thing about people that do content like that, if you're fake, it's going to be extremely obvious. It'll be so easy to spot inconsistencies when everything's recorded.
Yeah, I can think of a couple people that have surrounded the kill stream that have been shown that maybe they're a little bit grifty.
Oh, 100%.
Not as much Rogan. I I think a lot of those got weeded out just because he doesn't have open micers. But you mean like you can spot them quick, right?
So I can't fucking stand Baked Alaska, and I can't fucking stand
How
Shag
did you
It.
know?
I knew
How?
exactly who you were talking about.
God damn it.
That motherfucker, I don't give a shit.
It could have been Laura Loomer. I could have been talking about Loomer. I could have been talking about one or two other people. But you knew. Somehow you fucking knew. I had a picture of the Baked Alaska Ken doll in my head from fucking Twitter.
Oh, the Groyulus?
Yes!
Yeah, whatever.
That motherfucker's a national hero.
He really is.
This is the toy gun, a
Shag
green
it,
and black
Shag
zombie.
it.
One sec. Okay, sorry about that. The fucking video started auto-playing loud as shit. Anyways, yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't care that I don't have many followers, that I don't probably have many viewers or whatever. I can't stand fucking Baked Alaska. I can't stand how fake he is. I can't stand that he's a pussy little bitch. I can't stand anything about him, dude. So there was that video, Chagget. Chagget is arguably worse, but Chagget comes on the kill stream one time and he's like, "Oh, did you see the video that happened? We owned these girls in this darts bar or whatever." And he doesn't even have the fucking link ready. He makes Ethan find it and then pull it up on stream and play it. And it's literally
I was like,
this.
Did you watch the video though?
Yeah, the girl is more alpha than these two little beta bitches, and they're like bragging about how she got arrested, and that just tells you everything you fucking need to know, that they have no idea about the fucking real world, that they decided to involve the cops in something like this instead of taking it, settling the differences or de-escalating the situation or literally any fucking thing else. And I guarantee you, if that would have been, if that would have been a dude, if that would have been a dude, they would have been crying in the corner, sucking each other's cocks.
Yeah, I don't understand Chagget. I don't understand.
Fuck him. Fuck them both, dude. And that's not even the whole grifting portion of it. We could go into the grifting portion of, I'm a reformed alt-righter that got turned by the memes. Fucking idiot, bro. Seriously, kiss yourself, dude.
That found Jesus.
Yeah.
Which, commendable if that's the route you took, but I call bullshit with that.
Well, because he went from, I think, is this not his fourth rotation back to the fucking, yeah, it's his fourth, because he was a BuzzFeed writer, and then he did the whole Charlottesville grift, and then he went and made that video, and now he's back on the alt-right train, or whatever the fuck he's doing these days. I don't even pay attention to him. I just know I can't stand him.
He's
I would say it to his fucking face, dude.
Nationalist? I mean, he's a nationalist, right? Like, at the end of the day.
Whatever that makes him the most money is probably whatever he's doing.
Yeah, and I'm not probably convinced Charlottesville was a grift.
Well, I mean, just he basically took money from people that were, at that time in that area, in that political area. Like, Charlottesville itself wasn't a grift, but a lot of the people that were at Charlottesville probably didn't hold all of those views and were just there for the super chats or for the clout,
Yeah, it's, look how alt-right I am. Look how I'm just like you guys. I showed up, I got a hood in my trunk, LOL. You know what I mean?
I'd be willing to lay odds that he had somebody pepper spray him during that whole thing where he got bear maced, quote unquote, or whatever. He's like, I need milk, I got maced. I bet he had somebody do that to him. 50-50 shot.
I don't know. Like, I'm not sticking up for him, but at the same time, like, if you know who the fuck that is, like, there are instances where someone knows who you are in public, and they're like, I've got this motherfucker mine. Look at, like, Andy No. You know what I mean? Like, they're still looking for that fucking guy.
True.
I mean, which, fucking, I would argue he deserves it. He does good coverage, even though all the shit he does is stolen. But, like...
Yeah, with that Twitter,
I mean, like, hey,
shit. That Twitter Sage shit.
Yeah, but, like, credit where it's due. He is heavily involved in keeping videos of documenting such and such. But like, I mean, I can never forgive him what the fuck he did for fucking Andy. And I don't even know Andy. You know what I mean? Like, I've just followed Andy Worski for years.
Oh,
Like,
you're talking
forgive
about
that shit.
you're not talking about Andy. No, you're talking about Ian Miles Chong.
Oh fuck! God damn it.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I get him confused too. I do the exact
No,
same thing.
because I
That's why
follow
knew.
both of them for the videos. That's why I
Right.
don't fucking. But yeah.
But yeah,
But
that Malaysian weirdo, bro.
Yeah, eat ball songs. But you know, like, but Chaggett's another thing. Like,
It's the same
Chaggett
thing,
is,
real quick, with Ian Miles Strong. It's involving the police in some stupid shit. I like the idea of police, but when it comes to reality and how I choose to interact with them, unfortunately, it's at the point where you can criminalize yourself during an interview and have absolutely zero physical evidence to substantiate it and go to jail. It just, you say the wrong thing, you answer 99 questions truthfully, but if you answer one that's not even an outright lie but might just be a little bit wrong, it discounts everything that you said.
well, like, two things real quick. Like, you have, you know, going back to like the teacher. Like, let's say that was like a leftist teacher that just wanted, you know, guns are bad. Isn't the idea normally like we shouldn't be involving cops? Like, call DFACS, but don't call the fucking cops if that was a leftist teacher, right?
Well, and then
But like,
the kid was
yeah, like, let's
black,
not accidentally swat
essentially.
the fucking kid, right?
Pretty,
Like,
yeah.
isn't that a risk?
Well,
Like,
in that article, I didn't want to read it because it's kind of just like it's part of it. But they're like, it was really frightening and upsetting for me as a parent, especially as the parent of an African American young man, given what's going on in our country right now. Yeah, so I mean, I'm
out.
They definitely didn't leave that
Next subject.
unsaid.
I'm out.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, going along with their ideology, you would think that would be something that they don't want to do.
Well, yeah, and the other argument is the reality of it is the personality types of people who want to be a cop. You have people who legitimately want to do good for the community. You have guys who just want a job. But I really think it's in thirds. You have guys who want to do good. You have the guys who say, this is a job. I'm in a small town. There's not a lot of opportunities. It's either this, the chicken factory, or the welding shop. You know what I mean?
That's astute.
And
yeah.
And then you have, unfortunately, the other group of guys who would say, hey, $40,000 a year, I get a badge, I'm the big dick in town, and I get me a fucking Charger. And you're just like, yeah, that whole third doesn't need to be a cop. Now, some of those guys get weeded out, but not all of them.
No, for sure, not all. And the thing is,
guys, you know when they pull you over. You know when you see those fucking cops. You're like, you're going to get me in handcuffs if it's the last fucking thing you do tonight.
Yeah, and it's only compounds over time. If they haven't fucked up yet, the longer that they are, they're going to fuck something up.
Well, look at, I don't want to go into.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know who I'm using as an example.
Oh, shit. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, dude. What is up?
Oh, you know how it goes.
Damn.
You know how it goes.
Just sneaking on in, bro. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
Yeah, I really got to get
welcome.
these.
I had to,
really got to get
rush
these.
home. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I really got to get these Discord permissions worked out because if I ever get popular, it's gonna be super easy to just brigade. So what's going on, man? Oh, that's
not a whole lot. Just enjoying myself. Just got home and jumped on the computer real quick. I was like, I know I've got something to do tonight. What was it that I was supposed to? What's I supposed to be fucking doing?
Hell yeah, dude. Well, I'm glad you remembered either way. So I had a couple questions for you. This is Aluminum is also in here. He called into my show last week, but his connection was a little bit ass, so he's called in now. But
I'm a big fan, but Bibble.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, anyone who's not a big fan can just fuck off, to be honest.
What are we talking about tonight?
So we are talking about police, different stuff. Did you see that basically a kid had a toy gun on his like Zoom meeting for his school?
No.
Yeah.
Did they fucking run him out of school?
Well, he got suspended for 5 days, and the teacher called the cops without notifying his parents.
Called the cops.
Called the fucking.
He might have done some real damage to that school.
You know, yeah, that through the webcam sorcery.
Yeah. It would have been another massacre. I wonder if they're gonna label that like kids, kids self-harming in their bedrooms as school violence now, because it's all part of school.
It wouldn't surprise me.
More importantly, if a kid gets caught during a web class touching himself, does the teacher get arrested for hosting CP?
I think all teachers should get arrested anyways.
Just a general hard fast rule.
Just blanket arrest all teachers.
Well, like what Dick Masterson said,
gulag.
Your kid is more likely to get probably sexually abused in school than catch coronavirus.
That's true.
So, all right, Bibble, I had a couple questions for you. If you don't want to answer anything, feel free to just tell me to fuck off, because I get it.
Okay.
Can you go into your religious beliefs a little bit?
Yes, I can. So I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. I believe in the King James Bible. I believe, all that kind of radical extremist thinking, right?
Yeah.
I believe that marriage is one man and one woman.
That's okay. All right, calm down.
I know. I'm spouting all these hateful statements.
Horrible views, sir.
Disgusting.
So let me ask you real quick. Do you have or what is your opinion on how they have changed the institution of marriage to not even be one man, one woman, but just, one man, one half woman, one, whatever.
Well, it's a strange thing that nobody voted for, even in California, even in the most liberal place in the world, arguably, apart from maybe Sweden. They voted to legalize gay marriage, and it failed. It failed horribly.
I didn't even know that.
Yes. They voted. This was years and years ago. So I mean, maybe it would be different now. Of course, it's a strange thing, psychology, that once you make something legal, it becomes okay in the eyes of most normies, right? So I think that's why they had this huge push for gay marriage, because once you made that legal, because before gay marriage was legalized, no politician would come out in favor of it. Even Hillary Clinton, even Barack Obama, all of them were against gay marriage. And once it was legalized, it was this weird shifting act. Yeah, so look up Proposition 8 in California, and it was a proposition passed that was supposed to, I think it was actually supposed to label it as between one man and one woman, and then the courts came in and ruled it as unconstitutional on federal grounds, and so it never took hold. So yeah, I'm sorry. Proposition 8 was supposed to be a proposition that said it's between one man and one woman to make gay marriage illegal.
Yeah, see, you hit the nail right on the head, because I was gonna say, I personally, I do not agree with homosexuality from just a kind of like a nature perspective, But me personally, I don't give a shit about the government at all. Like, I don't care that the little piece of paper from the government that says I'm married, to me, does not, make me married or not. But what you said about people equating legality with morality is the whole issue. If people didn't do that, I wouldn't give a fuck if it was legal or not, but they do. So then what happens is it becomes almost like an endorsement. I was arguing with Vito on Twitter last night, and the exact same thing came up. He's like, well, they were what everything that happened was legal. And I was like, legality does not equal like something that's morally good or acceptable.
It's the truth. It's the truth. It's one of those strange things that just 12 years ago, California voted to make gay marriage illegal. And nowadays they're voting to allow, well, I mean, the people don't vote. They stopped letting the people vote on these things a long time ago. But now now they're voting to allow homosexuality between an adult man and a child. So
state enforced homosexuality. Sorry, bigots.
It's legal now.
It's literally legal now. 2070 paradigm shift is all coming through. That Sam Hyde was a prophetical work.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think it's very interesting because it's definitely one of those things where everything is a rubber band, right?
Exactly. I say diving board,
point.
Like a diving springboard or something.
And I'm not one of these people like, oh, fucking Weimar Republic, or I don't think any of that's going to happen. I just mean in the sense that society itself will cease to function properly, right? I mean, Venezuela, they still have a society, but it's a shithole because they reached their breaking point.
Yeah.
So now they have bread lines and shit, right? So that's what what I mean by a breaking point. I don't mean fucking siege and all that shit. I don't think that's ever gonna happen because normies just they don't know how to figure out anything other than well, they're lazy and well, I mean, and it's just they got other shit. They got kids to worry about, and they're fucking trying to worry about their job and all this other shit. And all the information they get is that 5 seconds, or the 5 minutes or the whatever
First
that they're
Google
listening to the radio.
Result.
Yeah, they're listening to the radio, or like you said, the Google result, what shows up in their news feed on their phone, or what comes on the TV, and all of that's controlled now. So there's no way for them to wake up without there actually being some kind of oppositional force. And there's no way for there to be oppositional force because they have made everything static at this point. Used to, it was just the internet was the last last expanse. It was the Wild West, right? I mean,
yeah.
If the internet we have now would have been the internet we had 10, 15 years ago, then MySpace would still be the dominant force. Yeah, but because it was a free internet, people were allowed to move freely. But we can see that's not going to happen anymore with things like Gab, because Gab would have been Twitter by this point. If they had not artificially suppressed it, it would be Twitter.
100%. Yep. And it's like Google and try and find the hard PDF of George Floyd's autopsy report, or try and Google and find an instance where the U.S. had advertising campaigns and essentially guilt-shamed people into taking an untested vaccine for swine flu in the 70s. It's all gone, dude.
I mean, we've got CNN doxing people for saying mean things online, right? You know what I mean? For sharing gifs of CNN, of
Trump
beating
down
up the avatar of CNN, or someone posting comments. Remember that lady that they doxed? They went to her house and she was like some fucking crazy lady that lived way out in the boonies or some shit, and they just fucking doxed her. And they were like, this is her name. We fucking went to her door to interview her. Like, don't talk shit about us, otherwise we're gonna come fucking dox you and try and ruin your life. Like, it's fucking insane. It is insane.
Didn't they do that?
The media is allowed to do that.
Didn't they do that to Tucker Carlson as well? The newspaper or whatever?
they doxed Tucker Carlson's house, and a bunch of people
Twice.
went there. Yeah, so I mean, shit like that, it only goes so far before people realize that yeah, this is all bullshit. This is complete nonsense, and we're not going to believe the media anymore. Right now, people still believe the media, but that's just the useful idiots. You know, by the
Yeah.
time we have breadlines, they won't believe the media, and they'll say it's changed. They won't realize that nothing has changed except where they sit. Right? The media has always been a piece of shit, lying, corrupt organization, but nothing else has changed except for where the barrel of the media is pointed.
Right, and the advent of social media and everything, it's simultaneously like shortened our attention spans, and at the same time made it really easy to discredit anytime a real conspiracy or a conspiracy theory that has some validity to it comes up. It's so easy for them to just distract, like the whole Area 51 meme shit. Do you remember that last year?
Yeah, I do.
Wasn't that happening while Hillary Clinton was being tried for the server deletions or whatever?
Yeah, and the BLM shit happened while Hillary Clinton was supposed to be testifying.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very easy
this year. Yeah,
very easy for them to just manipulate people. So
it's a brave new world. I mean, if people think it's 1984, but if you actually read, it's a brave new world. They don't have to remove the information. They don't have to black it out. They just put so much information out there you can never wade through it, and then they slowly pull it out the back end. Right, so they slowly pull it out of the search engines, or they put it on page 5 or page 10 where you're never going to go. So they don't remove it from the search. It's still there. It's just they've artificially lowered it to page 10 and put everything else on top that they want.
Right. Yeah, that's completely accurate. And it's so when they have rats, like lab rats, test medicine, there is I don't know what the name of it is, but they will give the rat treats every time it pulls a lever, and it will create a brain connection with pulling this lever gives me the treat, and eventually they'll start to replace the treat with whatever they want to test it on. And it's strikingly similar to how Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram all work on a cell phone, because you've got this haptic motion of you touching the surface, and then you get a bright color flash, and then you'll get whatever you're reading. You'll also get that, and it's crazy how much people are like rats in that sense. A little bit of dopamine, as long as you're plugged into the dopamine drip, everything's okay.
Yeah, it's basic reinforcement. So you have there's different types of reinforcement whenever you are working with lab rats, right? So you have a reinforcement where um, you every time they press the button, they get a treat. And then you have a fixed ratio reinforcement where every 3 times they hit the button, they get a treat. And then you have I think I'm using the right terminology. Then you have a variable ratio reinforcement, which is just randomly. Could be 3 times, could be 4, could be 8 times. And then they have what's called extinction, right? When the behavior stops. So if you give them a treat every single time they press the button, the behavior will end much sooner, right? They quickly figure out, I'm not getting this treat anymore. If you do it on a fixed ratio, it takes a little bit longer. If you do it on a variable ratio, meaning they don't know when they're going to get the treat, it takes much, much longer. And you can actually stretch it out for much longer before you get that extinction. So yeah, that's absolutely what people are. They they have been reinforced, and it's a very variable reinforcement.
Well,
I may have gone too deep into that.
No, perfect. What better way to make a complex variable than with an algorithm?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
They know what pisses you off. They know what makes you happy. They know what makes you sad.
So you don't know when you're going to get that reinforcement, but
yep.
they give it to you at a variable rate. Yeah.
What do you think about that, Aluminum? You into social media too much?
I think that, yeah, I am. I have a
Got
real...
way too high before the show.
Fuck yeah.
You did?
I really do wonder.
No, I'm saying that's what he did.
Oh. No, I appreciate him letting me talk with you.
Yeah, I was muted. I really do wonder if with the extinction of the knowledge that we know is there, whether it's documents, videos that we can't find anymore, things like that, I really do worry that we are not that far away from all of us with a little bit of knowledge really ending up how normies look at Alex Jones. To where it's like, back in my day, we had these videos. I can't show it to you. They disappeared. And it's like, it sounds crazy 10 years ago, but like, aren't we there?
Yeah, the systematic deplatforming and the ability of them to just create like a false narrative to distract. They're laying the foundation for that, to be able to mold people however they want, however it's most beneficial to who's in the background.
I really do wonder if we're all going to sound like, just those crazy old guys one day. Where like, these documents I don't have anymore, but they're on the computer and I can't find the link. And some Zoomer is going to be like, okay, Gramps, like, you can't find it. It doesn't exist. And we're like, no, you don't understand. There was multiple angles of JFK getting shot. And they're like, no, there wasn't. Shut the fuck up. And you're like, no, I swear. Like, I was there the other day. Like, I'm really, that's how I see this going eventually.
That's a good observation.
Unfortunately.
Never thought of it like that before, but yeah, it could there's already stuff, just silly stuff that has been lost to the internet that I just can't find anymore, much less something important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bound to happen. It is. And I mean, we're already at that point where people think we're crazy anyways. You know what I mean? You try and tell somebody that, yeah, the media, I mean, just on basic stuff, right? Like not even going to, interdimensional space vampires like Alex Jones does, which we all know what that is a code for, right? I mean, 100%. Come on, let's be fucking adults here.
I think Rex Jones did a good explanation on that one, where he was like, if you can't read between the lines, I can't help you.
Yeah. Everybody knows what that stands for, who has half a brain. He talks about powerful elites who are interdimensional space vampires and all this other shit, and people laugh. But if he said the real word, people would fucking cancel him immediately. So he has to codify it. But if you just say to somebody, yeah, the media lies about Trump, and I mean, you can show them so many examples of the half truths or the omissions or the outright lies that they've said about Trump, and they just refuse to believe it. And they just refuse. They act like you're a crazy person. No, I refuse to believe the media would lie to me. I refuse to believe all my friends and my family are that easily duped. And really, that's what it comes down to. It's, foot in the door kind of thing, where people do not want to believe they're that stupid or they're that easily fooled. So they will attack you if you try to. I used to I had a friend who said, he would say, don't fuck with my reality, right? Jokingly. But he said it in a way to mean, do not mess with my understanding of the way things are. And that's one thing that people really fucking hate, is when you say, yeah, you've actually been a fucking moron for your entire adult life. You have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what's behind the curtain. The media lies to your face every single day, and you believe it. And that's where you get your 2-minute hate from, is saying Orange Man bad, and you absolutely are an NPC. Even if you said it to them in a nice way, they absolutely positively hate you for it.
And when I was in high school, I was sitting in a classroom, and I was basically trying to go to the bathroom or something like that, but I asked the teacher if I could go to the library first, because there was some weird fucking code where you could go to the library but not the bathroom X amount of times in a semester or whatever. And I got in this this really stupid argument with the teacher, essentially. And I was just sitting there and I was like, man, I don't know what made me think of it, but I was like, just because you've believed something for your whole entire life has absolutely nothing to do with whether it's true or not. And ever since then, man, it really, like, that was my waking up moment, kind of, where I was like, people live their whole lives believing something, and they'll die, and it could be wrong the entire time. And it's just because they haven't taken the time to step back and look at different perspectives and also the motivations behind whomever is trying to get you to think a certain way.
I think that's how a lot of people look at religion. Like, I really believe that you don't have your feet are not cemented into whatever your beliefs are if you've never questioned them. Like, if you grew up Baptist and you've never questioned it, then I really don't think that you're a Christian. If you grew up atheist and you've never questioned it, I don't think that you're that. I think you're just following a trend. And the second you start questioning those things, you start questioning, like, how most kids eventually question their religion. And, like, is this me? Is this what I want? Like, that's how a lot of people question politics. Like, is this really what I believe? Like, is George W. Bush really as bad as my dad says he is? Like, you know, is Hillary Clinton, like, is she really just the white Oprah? Like these are things that you have to come of age and ask yourself. But, like, they are life-changing ideas.
Flo,
Yeah.
you need to fix your bit rate or something. Your stream is buffering like every couple of seconds, every 4 seconds.
Oh, son of a bitch. Okay.
Yeah, you should probably drop your bit rate, is what critical thinking says. It was happening to me. I saw it happening, but I just thought maybe it's my internet connection or something.
I got you. Yeah.
But,
let's see. Is that? I don't have to.
What is your bit rate on?
2,500. So that's probably too high.
Oh yeah, drop that son of a bitch down to 1,000.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, I think I'd have to stop the stream.
No. If you're on OBS, you can just drop it right there, then and there, and it should drop.
Oh, I'm on the fucking Streamlabs OBS.
Oh yeah, I don't know how that works then.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it won't let me fuck with it. Shit. Well, I'm recording it. Let's see, through this. And it doesn't usually do that when I record it through this, but I would like the stream to actually not be complete shit. You think I should stop it and start it? I mean, do you have to go for kill stream in 10 minutes?
No, you don't
okay.
start in 10 minutes.
That's accurate. Here, I'll end it and then just start it again real quick.
When, you know, he had the ex secretary that used to work for him that he pushed against the wall and finger, and some other accusations have come out against him. And it's the simple NPC argument of, well, Trump does the same thing, so you can't call Joe Biden a pedophile when Trump sleeps with very young women. Because I always wondered how the left explained that. And it's always the knee-jerk reaction of, well, Trump sleeps with young 18-year-old girls, so you can't call, you know, he's a pedophile, so you can't call Joe Biden a pedophile either, because they're even. It wasn't denying of the charges. It was just that, well, they're both guilty, therefore
a false
it's a
equivalency.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's a non-issue. They're both guilty. You know, yeah, politicians. I was like, I'm so confused that that's a thing.
I'm just glad I saw a Trump ad. Like, I'm not a huge Trump supporter guy. I'm kind of, I think both sides are, you know, I take, unfortunately, a centrist position. I hate to say shit like that because it's kind of got this negative connotation on it, but I dislike both of them greatly. I'll leave it at that. But I did see this Trump ad where they put the part of the Breakfast Club where he's like, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black, because the media sure as shit suppressed that.
It was beautiful. Have you seen the Trump vans with the big screens?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Mobile. Oh, they're
beautiful.
Those
are great.
Yeah, you know, Biden for Antifa for Biden. I don't know whose brainchild that was, but that is brilliant.
Really, really elegant. It's kind of just like build the wall, even though that was, you know, complete bullshit. and make America great again. You've got like an inherently defensive slogan and an inherently offensive slogan, and both of them working together made a really powerful campaign, strategy in 2016.
Yeah, it's simple, and that's all that matters.
So, if it's not too personal, Bibble, at your job, do you have a physical job or do you have an office job?
I have an office job.
Okay. All right. Just that's something I've always been curious about. Do you? Let's see. How well can you use a set of ratchet straps? Sorry, I just gotta know.
I know how to use ratchet straps. Yeah.
Okay, I knew you did. You had, yeah. Okay, thank you. That was just a little.
Yeah. I've had to move house before. I'm familiar with ratchet straps.
Hell yeah. What do you see? Do you see any type of happy ending to anything that's happening now? Do you feel like there is something that could, balance out the springboard? Because we've been going from extreme to the next extreme.
That's the only thing. I don't know if it's going to happen. But I mean, I didn't think, honestly, before Trump came around, I was pretty black-pilled, right? I just thought, well, because I had been red-pilled by Gamergate, but I knew there was nothing that we could do. And I knew I could see the censorship of the internet coming. I knew it was going to happen, right? As automation gets better, you're able to track things better. You're able to stop things faster. So I knew that was coming. But I didn't see Trump coming, right? And I didn't think he was going to be as based as he was. And I know everybody's like, "Oh fuck, he's not even fucking building fucking chimneys and shit." It's like, all right, man, calm down.
Yeah,
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, come on, motherfucker. He at least tries. He at least tries. You know what I mean? He's at least trying to build the wall. He at least says the things that people like to hear, in the sense that he says the real things. And so that that the Democrats want to come and destroy your suburbs. They want to come in and destroy your way of life.
Nuclear family.
Yeah, the nuclear family that they're after that kind of thing.
I will say,
so if we could get a demagogue, I think we have a chance.
It's funny that you should say that, because it seems counterintuitive, but it makes sense just based on the fact that there's so many people and they're all so divisive, I guess you should say, that you can't even look at things like that in a rational way on like a macro societal scale kind of thing. I will, like, if you look at it practically though, I haven't been old enough to experience how years are from president to president, but I'll say that gas is cheap. A lot of the vendors that I do work with have tons of work. There's a lot of incentives for small businesses. I mean, the only thing negative is the racial issues and things of that nature, but where that's coming from. It's like, I look at it like people on the right, they really don't give a shit what you do as long as it doesn't affect them. But people on the left want you to change so that they can. It's like a woman who doesn't like you cleaning with bleach because of the smell. It's offensive to them regardless of the necessity or the rational reason why you would do something like that.
Yeah, it's a really good analogy. But I think people are starting to wake up. The more we have these fucking forest fires, these wildfires, the more riots that we have, that people get stuck. Every person stuck on the interstate is one more person that you are chipping away at their support. Every drag queen story hour, for every fucking liberal wasp that you have out there.
For every child that's forced to transition regardless of what the dad wants.
Yeah, people are starting to wake up. They're really starting to wake up. And so pretty soon we're going to have a right wing that is just as totalitarian as the left wing. They're
That's
not going to put
spooky,
up
dude.
with shit. Yeah. And look, I don't want it either way. You know, I joke about the trans woman shit, but I'm a fucking fascist to left wings and I'm a fucking degenerate to right wings, right?
Yeah.
because of some of my beliefs and some of my, tolerances. So I don't want it too far either way, to be quite honest with you.
I completely agree with you. It's like you can separate the emotional from the logic, and you can see where equality comes into play and how people will sell you equality when it's absolutely not.
Yeah.
Shit, I had a question I was going to ask you and now I've forgotten. What would be your ideal candidate for president? And it doesn't have to just be a politician. It could be, whomever.
An ideal candidate for president.
Or if you could just pick, who's going to sit there.
Yeah, I mean, if I could pick who is going to be president, I would. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't think anybody known right now is an ideal president, right? I don't think anyone has enough of what it takes to do what needs to be done. I think the ideal, just like nobody would have picked Trump as a good president, right?
Yeah.
And arguably, if people could see out of their, from their own asses, they would see that Trump has done a lot of great stuff. He brokered peace in the Middle East. He
North Korea.
brokered peace in North Korea and South Korea. He is ultimately a peacemaker. But because he is so slandered by the media, people can't wake up to it. But he is a fantastic president. So I think our next fantastic president is going to come out of left field, so to speak. People aren't going to know who they are until they arrive. It's the same thing with the demagogue. I don't think that Nick Fuentes is going to be a real demagogue, is really going to rise up and lead people in a way that maybe he hopes to. He's got too many quotes out there, too many hours of footage. It's not going to work, right? They have too much ammunition against him. I think the person that's going to do this is going to come out of left field. They're going to say exactly what people, and maybe that's not true. Maybe Fuentes is going to be the one, because I would have said the same thing about Trump, right? How much video does he have out there of him doing stupid shit on the
reality
Apprentice
TV and stuff?
Yeah. So it's one of those things where whoever it is, they're going to come out, they're going to say what people want to hear. And if you think the left is bad right now, because right now the left is just using Antifa as a fucking Christ,
Hey, I like that ringtone.
as a communist, strong arm. Hold on a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you think that not this obviously she's been slandered, but do you think that Tulsi would be the good candidate, not from, because she won't agree with what people, but her values? Because she was pretty middle of the road, and I think that there's a good chance the right and the left would like her if they saw her for what she is.
I think what Bibble's saying, it should just be, it would be cool if somebody could completely grassroots, just an ordinary dude, just not a career politician, not a reality star, just kind of a normal person, and then they just like he was saying, they say what everybody is thinking, but they have enough tact to not get like,
yeah, but I'm saying, like, on the value side, I think Tulsi has a lot of those, but the problem is you would need someone who has the values everyone wants and would say whatever, which Trump got the silent majority, but, you know, kind of hard to speak for everyone and do for everyone, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's a
But
complicated
I would
situation.
agree about Fuentes, you know, like, I think he's too young, which is the thing with, you know, Buttigieg and, I think I said that right, and then Tulsi, and then Fuentes. All these people are too young. You know, they gotta wait a couple of years. But that also goes back to, I really don't think that they foresaw having to actually run Biden. I thought it was a throwaway candidate, and until Corona hit, they were just going to sacrifice him to Trump, let Trump eat him up and spit him out, and then come February, they realized, hey, we got a chance to make a run against Trump because look at the Corona. You know, we can blame Corona on Trump and say, hey, you know, he didn't shut it down early enough, which was insane to say, but nonetheless, if you can convince people that what's going on that's wrong is his fault, you can get the swing votes. And I think at that moment they realized, oh God, we're stuck with Biden, and we really thought this was a way candidate. And now we got to turn, you know, a pig into a princess, and we have this old man, and I don't know what to do with him besides pump him full of alpha brain and pray to God he can say a couple sentences on camera before he just shits on himself and passes out. You know?
I think Biden's fucking up because he's also I'm sure there's a lot of single issue voters on stuff like guns, and isn't he quoted as saying like we're coming for your AR-15s?
No, that was Beto O'Rourke, and that I don't think that was actually. Maybe that was actually his quote, but that was Beto. Beto said we're coming for your ARs.
Yeah,
that was Beto O'Rourke.
But yeah, yeah, it was Beto.
But yeah, there are. But like, okay, but like, look at, you know, his BB. Like, there, you know, she has some values that some swing voters could swing to. The argument is, if she's against Antifa, she may be tough on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's your main issue is screw politics, I don't want my city burning down because I own a small business tire shop. I don't care who wins as long as they stop the city from being on fire. It's on fire and Trump's in charge, so let's try something else. You know, I can't fault that line of thinking. I disagree with it entirely, but you know what I mean? Like, I understand that concept, though. She will get those swing votes.
That's true. I mean, she's a police officer, so she's probably got that kind of air of stability kind of thing.
She'll get the 5% that no one really cares for because, you know, less than 30% of them vote. But, you know, God forbid we don't cater to the 5% because the married white suburban mom wants to vote the same way as the 5% because she has to protect them. You know, so of course they chose them, you know, all the reasons they did.
Do you think that it doesn't even matter that just if you look at it from like time immemorial that it's any society once it gets to a level of technology it just implodes on itself, especially when you add in multiculturalism?
I think that multiculturalism is a weakness. I don't think that's too radical in saying, and I don't particularly care about having that attached to my name forever.
Yeah.
I truly believe it is a fucking weakness.
Well, I take a weird stance on this. Like, I don't care about immigrants if they want to come over here. I feel like people that escape a shithole, and I'm now legal immigrants. Keep that in mind.
I'm back.
Yeah. So I don't care too much about legal immigrants because they if they come from a shithole, they're going to be real motivated to not go back. But if you look at neighborhoods, we already segregate ourselves. So it doesn't seem like too much of a leap to think that might, you know, there's going to be a schism or something like that. And things would be better that way. I'm sure, you know, there's people in favor of that. Hey, Bibble, do you think an 11-year-old girl has the agency to decide if acting in a certain role is worth the money or acting experience that they have, that they stand to gain?
Man, I don't think the 11-year-old has fucking agency to decide if they get their ears pierced. The fuck you talking about? No.
Exactly.
Fuck no.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't even want to say the
Thank
name
you.
of what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's really really a fucked situation. Do you think winning an award at Sundance stands as a professional endorsement on something?
No. I think we've all seen the articles of Sundance being filled to the brim with pedophiles. So I think it's like that everywhere, especially places that are considered art or artistic. I think it, for some reason, it draws those people in. I mean, just look at it at Hollywood. You can see it in Sundance. You can see it in any kind of art community, really. You have a lot of those types. I mean, it's so amazing how the media has convinced us to completely disregard all the knowledge that was gained throughout the centuries, right? You know, I mean,
Just
back then,
ignore
you
it,
know,
Bibble. Just ignore
yeah,
it.
yeah, the whole idea, oh, he's one of those artsy types, and that became a meme like in the 60s. Oh, you're making fun of artsy types. And, oh, yeah, sure, Grandpa. Well, we know now that artsy types clearly promote or draw out pedophiles and shitty people and disgusting people. I mean, it's now known in Hollywood. Like anybody that goes to Hollywood is considered a piece of shit. I mean that's why we praise people like Keanu Reeves who are just normal people. He's not even that nice of a person. He's just, you know, cordial to people. And it's like, oh, he's the fucking nicest guy in the world. Why? Because he's not drinking babies' blood
Just
and raping women.
this stark
Like, oh,
contrast to what the norm is over there.
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, all this kind of folksy kind of wisdom that you got from your grandparents that they've made you mock and disregard, we're starting to learn that, oh, yeah, there's a reason why grandpa said pedophiles touch kids. It's because they do. It's because they absolutely have a higher propensity to rape children. And that's why people don't want to leave their kids around homosexuals.
That sounds like a pretty racist, bigoted statistic to me.
It is, yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
It's very racist and bigoted, but it's also very true. It's the sad fact of it. There's a lot of racist, bigoted statistics that are 100% true.
I mean, I think another thing is that like everybody is racist subconsciously. Like if you see a crime committed by somebody that is of the same race as you, you're just going to be able to identify them way easier than if they're a different race. And that's where that whole, oh, you know, they all look the same kind of thing comes from. It's just because that's how the brain works. And then you look at neighborhoods in America, and typically neighborhoods are segregated unless you're in a big liberal city. And then you see how that works out.
Even in big liberal cities, they're segregated. They're just segregated by, oh, this area has low crime. I wanted to move to an area that has low crime or good schools. I love good schools.
Good schools. We were
Because
talking
you ask
about
somebody, what does good schools mean? Well, it means it's, you know, better tests or better teachers and stuff. Oh, really? So, what's the racial demographics of those good schools? Oh, you fucking racist. Like, how's that racist? How's that racist? Just asking you why you want to move to a majority white area.
Yeah, we were talking about the quality of sidewalks and landscaping earlier. If you've got sidewalks, then that's a good sign. If you've got shitty sidewalks, you're getting a little bit less good. And if you've got no sidewalks with overgrown landscaping, that's how you can tell what kind of neighborhood you're in.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where you are. Some of those more rural areas aren't going to have any sidewalks, but they're still pretty nice.
Yeah, yeah, with the exception that, you know, like a normal suburban neighborhood usually doesn't have sidewalks.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, but everybody's lawn will be nice.
I'll say this: if you see a cage over the power meter, that is a dead giveaway.
Yes.
Dead giveaway.
I am very familiar with utilities, and I can tell you right now, it is. And they don't put those on any neighborhoods. It's for a reason.
Yeah, they definitely they definitely have certain tells that you can look at a neighborhood and see exactly
Bars on the
what.
windows at a gas station. Like,
Yeah.
that's one of those where you're like, I don't think one magazine's enough. I might need 2 magazines to walk into this gas station.
Right?
Oh man,
Right.
yeah. If you have to slide that extra magazine out and put it in some spare pocket, that's how you know. So let's see.
What you got for me?
Damn, dude, I should have prepared more. I fucked this whole
Yeah,
thing
you
up.
really should have. Fucking ruined it, man.
Well, because I want to ask questions about you, because I think you're a cool fucking character, but I don't want to get, too personal and depth with it. Like, could you tell me what you like to do in your spare time? You have any, like, hobbies? You like crafting, knitting?
I I like to do jujitsu. Obviously, I talked about that. I like to do grappling and stuff. It just depends on what week it is to what hobby I have there. I like to mess around with technology. I was messing around with the Raspberry Pi there for a while. Making a hotspot that people could use, or making like a portable server where
That's handy.
people could, like portable server where people could connect wirelessly and download whatever media or books or whatever they wanted. So that was really fun. I like doing stuff for D&D.
Oh, that's right. I actually play D&D, not well, but I do play it with a group of people.
Nobody plays it well. But yeah, I liked making terrain. There's a what is it? Black Magic Craft is a D&D YouTube about making terrain for D&D, so you can make dungeon tiles and stuff. So that's always fun.
Do they make Baphomet statues as well, or is that something separate?
No, it's not that
Oh,
far as Black Magic Craft. Yeah.
Shit, I had a good question and now I forgot it. Fuck me, dude.
I like to train my dogs. It's always fun, give them new tricks and stuff to do, and I spend a good amount of time doing that because, like I said, intermittent, training is always best because it's the longest to extend.
Oh, I remember now. When you're doing research for your B-file videos, how do you go about doing that? Because I imagine most of that shit wouldn't just be on Google or,
No, I read a lot. Yeah, so I'll get a lot of books and just try and read as many as I can to get through that. And some of it is Google, some of it is like searching through stuff, but a lot of it is I'll read and just pull stuff whole cloth out of these books.
How do you reconcile with how do you not lose? Well, let me ask you this. Have you lost faith in humanity?
No.
How do you maintain that? Does your religion play a part in that?
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely religion, but also just that, what plays a large part in it? I read a story about a town in Wisconsin, some little small town that elected a dog as its mayor.
Oh, I have heard of that.
Yeah, and like people make fun of it, like fucking white people. But to me, that is just so hope inspiring because it's like these motherfuckers have such little conflict, that they can meme elect. Yeah, right.
Okay, they wheel it around and shit.
yeah. Like Sweden was such a utopia that they thought, well, we should bring other people into this utopia and show them how it's done. Of course, it's a massive failure because reality smashed right against that. But the idea that we have gotten very, very close to these utopia ideals. I think the only thing that we have missed in that is the ancient Roman idea of the gymnasium, right? That you have to let that animal side out. You have to go out, and all of your population has to do this. They have to play sports of some sort, or they have to,
That's a
do
really good point.
wrestle or grapple. They have to get out that 2 minute hate. Otherwise, you just get these sheep like we have now that the media tells them you can yell at Trump, and they yell at Trump and they get that hate out.
Yeah, because if
And
you don't do it through physical activity, it's going to manifest itself in some other way. And it's that, who was the guest on Monday? Do you remember his name on the
no.
kill stream? I can't remember his name, and it pisses me off because
Canadian.
he was a great guest, but he had that guy slap his phone out of his hand, and he just like short circuited. Probably because he's been wage cucking it for so long, and I think when you work a job that you don't derive any sort of self satisfaction from, like service industry, I think that plays a part in it too. You go and you do the same thing every day, but you never really see any progress being made or anything like that. So it kind of can make you feel aimless and like what you're doing is pointless. So if you feel like you've got a chance to be righteously indignant, you're going to take it, and then when you make that conscious decision, your unconscious limbic system will take over and just you'll see red, so to speak.
Have you ever worked in a cubicle, like a honest to god cubicle job where there's like Taco Tuesdays and like politics that goes along?
Yeah, like inter-office kind of drama and shit.
Yeah. I mean, I've never like been in an actual cubicle. By the time I got to the office jobs, they didn't. The cubicles were too expensive and too private. Uh, they don't let you have cubicles at that point. Probably not anymore
Well,
either.
like an office kind of job.
But yeah,
Like
I have done that before.
it's extremely high school level gossip, the backstabbing, the just backhanded comments are just commonplace. And I really think you just cram people together with just, I mean, like, it's like the joke of, like, that's my red stapler. Like, that's how those people are made. And, like, when these people just work late, go home, get their kids from after school, hit McDonald's, drive through, and then they go home, they do homework, shower, and bed. You do that in and out all day long, that creates a personality. That personality doesn't have a outlet. And if you don't have an outlet, you get some weird fucking things happening. And like that's how you have like these backstabbing fat Karens or like Susans or pick a name. Just mad as shit, but like, hey, she made her Halloween Rice Krispies and you didn't say thank you. And that's a real issue. And
Yeah,
that's how you get drugged to HR 2 weeks later when you made a passing comment about someone else. And you didn't know that they had a Survivor TV show, you know, gang up on you behind your back that you never knew about. But like you don't have that at a blue collar job where you get physical work out every day, or you know what I mean, like a plant job or a mechanic, or
Where
like
you're
I've done both.
suffering along with
Yeah,
other people.
I've always been way happier with coworkers in a physical environment. Someone is at least moving around to any level of it really just takes the edge off your coworker and as a person, however you want to look at it. But that's always been happier for me.
um, yeah. I mean, that those are very good jobs. I was just afraid that they would be taken uh, by outside workforces. but
Yeah,
by the time I had to decide for that, little did I know that tech jobs would be the ones that were actually quickly being erased by outside cheap labor.
Yeah, isn't that funny how that worked out for you, dude? Holy shit.
Right.
Oh man,
Right.
that's kind of fucked.
But
Yeah, I will say, like, in an office setting, it's crazy how much somebody's aesthetic appeal can factor into that. Because
oh yeah,
not to, toot my own horn, but my boss tells me all the time, the reason I hired you is because you look so honest and you're like an attractive guy that people automatically trust, which is fucked. They shouldn't, because not that I would fuck someone over, but I definitely have the propensity to do that. But like what you were saying earlier, I worked in this facility, and I was part of a portion of that facility that was more blue collar, but it had HR, it had administration, it had an upper echelon of people. And we had this lady that worked for us. She had not that many teeth. She was overweight. She was very crude and crass. She would talk about getting fucked by her husband and stuff. Anyways, she had a really bad problem with like gossiping, but this lady would work her ass off, and she's an old lady that lives in a trailer with like a hole in the floor. And I mean, it was and she had like a lesbian haircut, and it was she was not nice to look at. But they fired her for essentially what it came down to, gossiping, when every motherfucker in that place, that is like 20% of the day. Like when people would come to work there, I would tell them straight up, the work is not the issue here. The issue are the fucking employees, because they will drag you down and they will backstab you, just like you were saying, for some of the most innocuous, stupid shit.
yeah, and I think the employees, a lot of it is that they just don't have anything outside of work, right? Anything outside of their job to go and do, or enough of it. Like I always thought it was that their lives were so boring.
They
And
probably
so,
don't get a
like,
lot of sunlight either. They come in early and then it's fluorescent lights, and
yes,
they leave and
probably.
it's dark.
Yeah, not enough vitamin D. Yeah, something, because it's just like they are absolutely. That's probably it. Yeah, they probably don't get a lot of sunlight. Um,
Well, so my boss is a crazy motherfucker. I've never met anybody like him before. The guy probably does millions of dollars per year in, not necessarily profit, but just like, moving money, moving amounts of money. He's got like a lot of assets, but not a lot of liquid wealth. But because he does it just for fun. Like if he wanted to just make money, he's had a company before that has made him way more money. But he does this as a hobby. He likes to build stuff and that sort of thing. But he was saying to me, shit, I forgot what I was going to say now. What were you just talking about, Bibble?
People who don't have too much outside their work.
Oh yeah, he's always like, he'll get down and dig a hole, or he'll move cement blocks or whatever, and he's always like, the reason I do this is because I know what's coming. And he always says this weird shit like that, and it's a really odd, because you're like, why in God's name would you want to come out here and destroy your back moving cement blocks when you've got tons of people that could do it for you? And his mentality, I think, is just strengthened by it's counterintuitive, and this kind of plays into to probably your religious beliefs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the suffering is good. You kind of, your inner self, your flesh, is what you're fighting against, more so than like a scary devil. Like you're gonna fuck yourself up more than another entity if you give into your ego.
So, there was a time when I was really young that I was really, and then I kind of moved away from it as I got older. And then I started to get back into it in the sense that, I understood that certain activities are good for people, right? Like people discovered therapy by themselves by praying to God. Like that was my idea. Like, okay, so people pray and it's their way of processing things and understanding things and coming to terms with it, and they kind of rationalize it and think over it. And so that's what prayer is. And these rituals that we have, when you look at like Joseph Campbell and the idea of the monomyth and the Jungian ideals and all this other kind of shit, where you have like every culture has these same myths, right? A hero with 1,000 faces, and every culture does these same things, and we develop these same ways, but because our brains are hardwired the same way, just like we all have, 2 arms and 2 legs and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, okay, these rituals, that we all have these rituals as well. And so this must be something that is needed for humans. So, let's go ahead and do these rituals because it's good for you and it makes a better person and a better life. And then as I started to get more into it, you kind of start going, well, maybe there is something else. How can you know that there's nothing out there? Like when people do DMT, they always talk about seeing these creatures.
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
I've had some psychedelic experiences where I've seen the same thing that someone else has seen in the room, which doesn't make sense, Like it
Yeah.
shouldn't work that way.
Yeah, and a lot of people have experienced things like that where everybody has experienced like the feeling of being watched, or feeling like there's something there. And then there's people that have experienced it in mass. And yes, it could just be mass hysteria. Yes, it could just be our brains all working the same way. An electromagnetic field comes and goes over all of us, and it affects our brain in the same way. Or it could be that there is something there. I mean, you don't want to discount it just because you can't see it, right?
Exactly.
Because if you told people 300, 400 years ago that there were very tiny creatures all over us and living in us and all around us, they would say, well, you're fucking crazy, you're an insane person, right?
It's the winds, bro. There's no fucking it's miasmas,
Yeah,
bro. You gotta point your house to
exactly.
the
It's the
fucking
four
north.
humors. Right?
You gotta
You
bleed
got
you a
too much
little bit
bile.
more, son. Yeah, too much
Yeah,
bile.
exactly.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
You like
so
my spooky mask?
yeah, so that's what people would think back then. But we now know that there are tiny creatures that live inside of us, and our body is made up in tiny creatures. And there's even theories right now that we as humans are not really, we don't have any consciousness, that we are really affected by the will of bacteria, right? So all these bacteria, they get us to do certain things and act certain ways, to either propagate or destroy other bacteria, things like that, right?
That's
So
crazy.
there's
Because they have
yeah, there's
fungi and parasites that do that.
yeah. And so the idea is that we know we have all these bacteria in us. So maybe bacteria, a certain type of bacteria makes some people like compulsively drink or compulsively eat and things like that. And if there was a different type or different strain of bacteria or culture or something like that, then maybe you wouldn't be that way. And so, there's all kinds of crazy theories about that kind of stuff. But I say that to say this, we used to not believe in germs, and now we do. And then, maybe at some point we'll realize that yes, there are fourth dimensional creatures. I mean, the idea that we are the only things in the entire universe, I think, is a bit too much of a stretch. So I absolutely think that there are creatures out there. And if you look at the ocean, you would say, well, there's nothing out there. I can see the ocean. It's complete. Like if you're out on the ocean, it's
Yeah,
completely
for
flat.
miles
There's
around.
nothing there. There's miles around. There's clearly no life here. Yet, I mean, we know that's not true. You just have to go a couple inches under it, and maybe you'll see something. But definitely, it's teeming with life, large, small, and microscopic. So my idea is that space is much like that, or maybe even possible realities or universes or dimensions past the third, is teeming with life, but we just cannot see it.
For sure. I mean, like the mantis shrimp. Do you know that
Yes.
that little creature? It can see
Yeah.
colors that we can't even imagine. Many colors, like tons of colors that we can't even.
Oh, a lot of things can, like birds can.
Yeah, and bats have the echolocation. They can sense disturbances. And it's something that really trips me out is like, it's like manipulation of your reality. Like, what can you how much power do you have over your own reality that you can? It's like there's a great equalizer in everything. Like if you do something bad, you're gonna feel guilty about it. So what does it mean if you can move past that guilt? Is that what makes like a psychopath who seems to be more in line with base instincts, but ultimately will never feel like self-satisfaction? They're always going to try and do whatever it is that it's motivating them to do, and whether that be a killer, a CIA agent, or a CEO, like how much control do you have over your reality that you can mold it to be the best that it can be for you, even when that means stuff that doesn't inherently make you happy, like exercise or eating right, or just various stuff like that, like studying, things that are not very fun but are ultimately more fulfilling than just doing egotistical selfish shit.
Oh yeah, it's all about rituals, man. It's all about. I mean that whole thing with Jordan Peterson and make your bed. Like that is a good thing. It instills that ritual in people to do that thing. The whole do your push-ups. It's the same as the Jordan Peterson bit. It's just that's going to improve your life far more than making your bed, in my opinion.
Well,
If you didn't make your bed ever and you did 10 push-ups a day, and added 10 more every 3 days or every week or every day, then that's, I think, is going to help out a lot more.
for sure. Have you looked much into the calendar that we use, the 12-month calendar?
No, not really.
Ooh, I thought I would know. I thought I'm happy. So the 12-month calendar.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I gotta let you guys go.
All right, man. Thanks for coming.
I'm headed to on the other side of the mountain. I have no. So.
Thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate it.
It was great talking to you. I'm a huge fan. Have a great night.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. I'll see you later, Flo.
Take it easy, boss.
It's good meeting you.
Yeah.
That is J0e Schmoe on Twitter. You might have seen him in some.
Oh, okay. Then I didn't just meet him. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 12-month. I'm gonna pull up a webpage real quick just to make sure. But the 12-month calendar was designed by the Catholic Church to, and this is another one of my boss's crazy theories, that they wanted to get us away from the natural cycle of the moon. So like the lunar calendar it was a lot easier to keep track of time and things of that nature by using the stars and the moon. So it was Pope Gregory invented propagated the Gregorian calendar, and it spaces the leap years out and everything. But I think really it was designed, one, to equally space out holidays that Catholic people realize, for them to probably to make money in some way, but also to get us away from a more natural cycle of life of getting up with the sun and going to sleep with the sun setting and that sort of thing, where humans are probably designed to experience life like that. That goes into like the sunlight thing you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think about Catholics?
I mean, they definitely. I think Catholics are fine people. I mean, the church, like anything else, it's had its ups and its downs, and when it had power, it got addicted to it, and absolutely, they did some very bad things. But I think the Catholic Church is fine. Obviously, I'm not Catholic myself. I'm Protestant, so I can't say I believe in all of that. But I think one of the the best things that we did was we came together as Christians, as a Christian nation. I mean, granted, it was founded really by WASPs, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, not by Catholics, but we still accepted the Catholics and we still, welcomed them as good Christians. And I think the infighting that was stoked by outside forces really did a number on the Christian nation and allowed these outside forces to steal away Christian children.
What can you give a specific outside force? Maybe not, like the motivating
Space
force.
vampires.
Space vampires. What did the space vampires do? Just anything that would cause division.
Yeah, they propagated turning away from Christianity in the media. They made it very unpopular. They made it
unintellectual.
Unintellectual. Yeah, I mean, of course, they completely took it out of the schools through the Long March. But even more than that, the counterculture movement that was, I mean, it was, I don't see how you could say it was counterculture when it was really backed by the media. Although they would say, oh, look at these crazy hippies. They absolutely promoted it, in the sense that they couldn't outright come out and promote it at that time like they are now, right? I mean, this is what they've always wanted to do, was mutilate children and molest them, and they couldn't do that. So they came out and said, "Oh, look at them. They're perverting your children, but they show all these kids, these attractive kids, kids in the sense of, like 18, 19-year-olds who don't want to go to war and are dancing around and talking about peace and, the flower power, flower children that are very attractive. They show all that kind of stuff in this glowing light, right?
Right.
But while at the same time the voiceover goes, "Oh, these dirty fucking hippies," so they knew what they were doing.
Oh, that's clever. That's dastardly clever, actually. Well,
they all
really
knew what they were.
What really got the old noggin jogging when you were talking about Timothy Leary in the MK Ultra episode of B Files, because like I know people that like their profile picture will be Timothy Leary, or they very much view him as kind of like a saint of the counterculture. But what would you say to that? Kind of was he spooky?
So yeah, he was. I don't know yet if he was spooky, right? I'm still doing research on this. I don't know yet if he was spooky.
Thank you for not speculating. I appreciate that.
But he was definitely used by the establishment to push what they wanted him to push, right? We know now nobody gets a microphone unless they want you to. Back then, they were able to coach it much better and saying, "Oh, well, we're just reporting the news and you decide," and that kind of shit. But even back then, it was all a work, right? Nobody got the microphone unless they wanted you to.
Right. Sure.
So I'll say this: if you look into a lot of the bands, a lot of the counterculture, because back then, TV was not in the power that it was today, right? It was more radio, and so that's how they would push these things. Yeah, everybody had a radio and newspapers, of course, but radio was really reaching out and touching the youth. And so, if you look at these bands, you really can play 6 degrees from the CIA or 6 degrees from the government. Are you familiar with Jim Morrison? You know who that is? The Doors.
Yeah, the Doors. Did he overdosed?
His
right?
father. Yeah, he overdosed.
Sounds about right.
His father was George Stephen Morrison, United States Navy Rear Admiral and naval aviator. So,
wow.
Yeah.
He was. It's not Jim. That is fucking creepy because it's not Jim Morrison. It's like it's that three entities separated it's like anytime somebody gets popular, if it's not, like you're saying, not already designed to if it's not already designed to push some sort of agenda, they will either blackmail you in some manner to switch it that way. Like I was talking with Aluminum earlier, the skinhead movement was like a movement of people that listened to ska music in the 60s, I think. Yeah. And there was one picture of a kid, a skinhead kid, doing the Roman salute, and after that the media started saying, oh, skinhead gangs do this, rob this lady, beat up this thing, or they're rioting here and they're doing that. And then the neo-Nazis of the time moved in and they co-opted,
because they thought they had good company.
Yeah, they changed really the whole public view of it, and that's exactly what Antifa is doing to Black Lives Matter right now. They, as soon as it got to a point where it had any kind of influence, these bad actors come in and they distort it and inject whatever agenda they want into, and it's you can see how easy it is. It was very easy for them to do that, and with the right type of social media, it's just insane what people can do.
Well, this is why it's taking so long for my next MK Ultra, because I'm trying to connect all of the dots back to the CIA, and a lot of it is difficult. And I don't want to speculate, but when you have, like, we've pretty much connected Charles Manson to MK Ultra. The amount of times that he was given a get out of jail free card, the amount of times that they were thrown off his scent or told to stop looking into him is just insane. So that's almost certainly MK Ultra. Jim Morrison is almost certainly affected. I believe he was MK Ultra, although that's a bit harder to prove, but I believe that he was MK Ultra.
Well, and there's varying degrees, not every person, maybe he was only dosed and suggested things, a handful of times, but at that point they had probably already figured out the exact best way to do that. And with, like you were saying, with the smiley face killers, the fact that there may be some sort of shape or symbol that they can show somebody and have it change their whole sense of consciousness. It's really weird.
Yeah. And it's just one of these things where, like I said, it's always 6 degrees from the government or 6 degrees from the CIA, right? You can always connect it directly back to these organizations, but you can't exactly say, yes, they did it. But you can say, well, there were spooky people around, or this person was affected by spooky people at one point, and he went and contacted all these other people. So stuff like that is very interesting. And, eventually I'm going to wrap it up here in probably the next couple of weeks and put it out, because I'm sure I could go off like like the guy whose book I was reading about, Charles Manson, who did a lot of the groundwork for the MK Ultra Charles Manson stuff. He did that book for like fucking 20 years. I mean, I'm sure I could do something similar, but I'm just I have to at some point say, okay, well, we're putting it out whether it's done or not.
What a fucking commitment. I can't imagine going to libraries and just, I'm sure you didn't work on it like every day, but having this just overarching project that you're just so committed to for 2 whole decades. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely wild. And I think it's just because he kept going further and further down the rabbit hole. He didn't start out with Charles Manson and MK Ultra. He started out with Charles Manson. Maybe there was some factual inaccuracies in the trial, and then it just kept getting deeper and deeper, and every string he pulled just led to more and more things. So it's it's one of those things where it gets real interesting. You can see um, how these conspiracy theory guys can go off the deep end, and it's easy to make these leaps of logic, but you don't want to do that, because every time you do, yes, it may be true, but it weakens your case, because every time you connect it with something that's not stable, it's another thing for someone to come in and break down and make you look foolish. So you have to just connect it with either things that, even though you can't directly connect it, you can connect it with so many other ancillary bits that it's stable enough. Or you just say, hey, this is maybe this, but I can't prove that, and it would just make sense if it was.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean, dude. Like, I don't know how you do that. How you can I mean, I probably could do it too. And I do a fair bit of research on stuff, but like the width of the topics that you've looked into and stuff, it's almost like, ignorance is bliss, and you're allowing your as much ignorance as you allow to float away. I don't know how you aren't insanely depressed, man, or just trepidatious about everything. Do you feel like,
I mean, you gotta keep going, I guess.
yeah, I mean, you're not gonna just kill yourself or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it would be very easy to just burn out on that sort of thing. Do you feel like you are ready for like a rapture or an end times thing, in terms of both physically, like with stuff that you have, but also like spiritually?
Physically, I don't know, man. Who fucking knows? Everybody thinks that they're ready for that. Everybody's calling for the Civil War and all that shit. Me,
Fucking
personally,
ignorant assholes, bro. Like,
yeah, I like bread and circus. I know it would be very unpleasant. Everybody thinks it's going to be nice and romantic and everything, but they don't realize the actual. Whenever you see this kind of stuff of somebody like in their fucking, with the
bunker.
freedom fighters underground, in these big underground caverns, and they're reading books by candlelight, yeah, it makes for a nice shot or whatever. But it's incredibly boring, and it sucks. It sucks balls.
Yeah, I think just air conditioning, just not having air
Yeah,
conditioning would
air
fucking kill
conditioning.
me.
Yeah, there's not going to be any air conditioning. There's not going to be like water on demand all the time like we have now. Like, you're going to be like, all right, well, we went out and got water today. We've got to ration it. Like, it's going to fucking suck. And, you're not going to be able to wash your ass every day. Like, it's not going to be a fun time. So as far as like that kind of rapture, no, I don't think I'm ready for that, but hopefully I would be able to adapt. Spiritually, yeah, I think I am.
Cool, that's cool. Yeah, they need to spend a week in the woods. See how that does you. See how that grabs you. What happened to SPCC? Where's he at?
What?
What happened to SPCC? Where's he at?
SPCC.
Southern Poverty Call Center.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
It's just, I just said, how's that grab you? That's something he used to say. Or maybe that was Longmont Potion Castle. I can't remember. Some prank caller.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't ever watch him too much. I mean, I've seen some of his stuff, but I didn't. I kind of drifted away. I was busy with work at that point.
I got you. Yeah, I have a weird fascination with prank calls. I just like you were saying with the dog mare, it's impossible to find levity in anything these days unless you go, all the way to the, unfortunately, like, you have to go all the way to an extreme in one direction to just, and you have to like eat the meat and spit out the bones, so to speak, of something. Do you watch the Dick Show?
Yeah, I watched some of it.
They're in the episode this week, they had this guy who his intestines are slipping into his ball sack because of a hernia. So, yeah. And this poor dude, at first it started like it would be like the size of a pea, and it wasn't really painful, and he could still work his job. But he started a GoFundMe because he doesn't have health insurance, and at this point, it's like the size of a fucking golf ball, and sometimes he has to push it back into his body multiple times per hour. But anyways, he was talking to Dick, and he's like, if I ever see you in Texas, I'm gonna send your bitch ass to the doom dimension. And I just thought that was so fucking funny. And it's like, but I didn't really find anything else funny about that episode, but that little portion was just worth it to me.
Yeah.
It's some Bakugan bullshit, like the doom dimension. But it was great how he said it.
Yeah, sometimes that kind of shit just tickles you.
Just gets you in the right way. Well, Bibble, man, I really fucking appreciate you stopping by, and especially for staying so long. That bitrate advice has immeasurably helped my stream, I'm sure. So I appreciate you for that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know about it until someone told me. But y'all don't need to whisper. Turn the audio a bit louder. Bibble's always quiet. He's sleepy. Sorry, I just glanced at chat. Sorry I wasn't paying attention, chat.
No, yeah. I'm sorry I also wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, it's a lot to run everything. It takes some getting used to, but you'll get used to it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have. Oh, now I'm like, should I yell? I have somebody that will watch it at the beginning to make sure the audio is okay. But then after that, I tell them to get the fuck off the Wi-Fi.
Exactly. Fuck off my Wi-Fi, bitch. All right. Well, it was good talking to you, bud. I'll have to drop by and do it again sometime.
I would really, I'd love it if you did, and I would promise I will get more in-depth Bibble specific questions.
Oh Jesus, don't do that.
Oh, not personal, but like something that's more relevant. That's not just like
every bit of information I give out, those fuckers are watching. They're watching everything, trying to figure out where I am and who I am. I always have to give out fucking false clues like all the time.
Yeah, dude,
that's one of the best things to do if you ever don't want to get doxxed. Just accidentally drop some information, accidentally get a time zone wrong. Like if you do that, people will legit think it's real. I guess it's because they can't see your face. If you can just say, oh yeah, well, now it's 7:25 or whatever the fuck it is, and they're like, oh, he's in fucking mountain time zone or whatever.
Yeah, dude. It's
like
it's tough, bro, because I really want to talk about local shit sometimes, but I'm like, not worth it, man, not worth it. And I really look up to you for that. Like I had this idea of maintaining anonymity, but I really had no clue how intricate and how careful you have to be if you want to. This is really the only way that you can express
what the
yourself.
Weather's like. Never mention what the weather's like. That's a big one. Don't say when it's snowing. Don't say when it's raining. Don't say the temperature. Don't do any of that.
10-4 on that one.
That's an easy one to track. Really easy one.
Do you have some like dedicated assholes that want to,
Oh yeah. Oh, well, I mean, all the people that hate Ralph came after me, and then fucking one of them ran away like a little bitch and privated all his stuff. Good old Zoom, Corey Barnhill, the pedophile.
Yeah,
he privated everything because he got doxxed. His own information got doxxed on Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, because he fucked with. Isn't he the one that did like the bomb threats when Josh was still in the U.S.?
Yeah, he did the bomb threats, and he was doing some streams like doxing Flam's mods and going after Ralph's mods, and he said he was gonna go after me and shit like that. And then somebody came out and doxed him, and he just fucking went to ground.
The old reverse trap card or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Well, it's not hard to find. I mean, his whole name's out there, and records are public in New Jersey where he lives. So it's not really hard to find him and find his mother and everything else. So, I mean, he's just playing with fire, right? I mean, if you get somebody fired from their job, if you ruin their life, there's always two types of people, right? There's people like Josh who will run away and hide and try and eke out an existence. And then there's crazy people who will fucking drive to your mom's house and take her out for a nice dinner. And you know,
Dude,
you
I
never
don't
know which
even
one you're
I don't
dealing
even
with.
have like certain stickers. Like I don't put stickers on my car because it's fucking stupid. But like every time I see someone with like my child is a star student at X elementary
Never.
school, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, how do you? The longer you have that shit on your car, the higher chance that not even that you'll piss somebody off, but somebody has a psychotic break, sees that sticker, and they're like, okay, I know what I'm doing today.
Don't don't have stickers on your car. Um, do not.
I
There's a
especially
lot of
like
things
to
you
have a lot
can
of
do.
firearm stickers on my car. I feel like that makes me real cool, you know? Lets people
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what I got going on.
exactly, exactly. Lets them know which house or car to break into. Um, don't do stickers on that. Don't have a Facebook. If you ever have anything, have a separate, like, say if you want to use TikTok or something, right? Which I never would, I never do. But if you wanted something like that, one of those meme applications like Instagram, have a separate phone to do that with. Just buy yourself a cheap Walmart phone and then always keep it on VPN to do that kind of stuff with. Um,
Oh my
and make
god,
sure
you
location services are
uh,
turned on. Always, you know what's a really good one? Always have tinfoil in your vehicle or nearby. That way, because tinfoil works great for hiding your phone signal. Um, it will block it out completely if you wrap your phone in tinfoil.
kind of like a Faraday cage.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. It works better than anything else that I found. It's just tinfoil that you wrap around your phone several times. Um, you will get no signal. No one will be able to call you. GPS won't work. None of that kind of shit.
So, are
Yeah,
you saying I should use a VPN and a proxy to set up a Puppet email account and use that to buy a laptop with cash off Craigslist, install a virtual machine on it, and only use Tor at the third farthest out McDonald's from you? Is that what you're getting at?
that's exactly what I was
To
getting at.
post
Yeah.
your TikTok videos?
Yes, to post your TikTok videos. Oh, that's another one. Always use like a phone, like a prepaid phone. Don't use like a plan. Um, because they'll sell that information a lot, like your name and stuff.
Well, even the
So,
prepaid ones, a lot of times your identity is tied to that, right?
well, yes and no. So I mean, obviously you have to pay for it some way, um, but at the same time, they don't have your name um,
They're
and
not
your
part of
information.
that like metadata collection scheme that's been going on for 20 years.
Well, you just don't have to give them your real name and information. I
God,
mean, you give
Bibble.
them your
Bro, I
your.
thought I was like had a healthy level of paranoia and I was doing everything that I could do. You're just crashing my whole world right now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you gotta be careful,
It's
man.
good
You gotta
fucking
have always.
advice, man. 21st century living up in here.
Yeah, virtual machine is legit good though. Always run a virtual machine.
Is Tor compromised?
Yes,
Seems like
in
it
my
is.
opinion, Tor is compromised. Yeah, a virtual machine on a and also hard. Air gap is always one of the best things, right? So if you have a virtual machine and then you have a separate computer to do all your personal shit on. So you're still on a computer that's completely clean, but you still run a virtual machine. And then you have a separate computer to do all your personal shit on. That's great. If you have a separate internet too, that's even better.
Damn, dude. You're giving me all kinds of new fantasies.
Yeah, I mean it's just depending on how crazy you want to get with it.
Golly. Technology and its what is it? Technology and its effect on society.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right, man. I really appreciate you stopping by. If there's there's anything you ever need from me, I know that's kind of like an out there thing, but don't hesitate to ask, man. I appreciate everything that you do, man.
Wax my female balls.
Well, you know, you're gonna have to take me to a human rights tribunal. Otherwise, I refuse.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
I'm a proud Muslim woman, Bibble. I don't do shit like that.
Take it easy, bud.
You too, man. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fucking amazing. Thank you. Thank you to Bibble, obviously, and thank you to whatever supernatural circumstance made that happen, man. That was the shit. I apologize for the low quality stream and not really paying attention to chat too much. If you would like, feel free to follow me on Twitter at FlowEuphoria. I'm trying to get these episodes up on BitChute. That is proving to be quite the challenge. If you are into this kind of thing, I would implore you to not give me any money. Go and give money to Bibble. He definitely deserves it more. I have zero clout. But do your research, guys. Don't let people tell you what to think. Don't let people tell you what to believe. Don't believe a source just because it's on the internet. You got to double and triple fact check shit. Don't just use Google and think that's going to give you all the answers. It's a tough situation that we're in, but we're going to make it through, everybody. This fucking... Let me see. I'm going to check the chats. I don't believe D-Live has had anything. Internet sluggish, baby. We got 3 people on YouTube. Thank you for that. Anything. Critical thinking. I know you. You were in that pay stream last night. Hell yeah, bro. Thanks for tuning in. Fran Powa and RPG or 90. If you're still here, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Take it easy, everybody. I'm going to play a song on the way out. Yep, I usually will stream to exclusively D-Live, but I will also stream to YouTube if I can get the restream to work. The last episode 2, I tried to do the restream and it all got all kinds of messed up. So let's see what we can find here. Have you guys ever wondered why Muslim women dress like ninjas? 'Cause I sure as fuck have.
Why do Muslim women dress like ninjas? How come the only thing that you can ever see is their eyes? Why don't they show a little thigh? Yeah, why do Muslim women dress like ninjas? Why do they go around dressed from head to toe in disguise? Maybe Muslim men are jealous guys. Well, I was at the grocery store getting some stuff, a couple apples and oranges, when then I felt a woman's touch. It felt so good it made me blush. But when I turned around, well, nobody was there. Just a big old box of produce with some apples and pears. No pretty woman. I guess I was out of luck. But then all of a sudden I felt a hand on my wrist, and then a pretty little woman, she leaned in for a kiss. A Muslim woman, dressed from head to toe in black. And as I looked in her eyes, I went to ask for her name, but then this pretty little woman disappeared in the rain. This Muslim woman, She disappeared and never did come back. Why do Muslim women dress like ninjas? How come the only thing that you can ever see is their eyes? Why don't they show a little thigh? And why do Muslim women dress like ninjas? Why do they go around dressed from head to toe in disguise? Maybe Muslim men are jealous guys. Well, a couple days later, I was at the bank. When who did I see? Well, who do you think? That Muslim woman. Or at least I think I did. So I went over to reintroduce myself. I went to shake this woman's hand, this pretty brown-eyed Muslim woman. But then she disappeared again. And now the bank teller's yelling for security. And there's a big old bag of cash laying next to me. This Muslim woman, I think that she just set me up. And now the police got me down on my knees. And I'm just looking out the window at this woman empty out an armored truck and make away with $500,000. And now I know why Muslim women dress like ninjas. I know why the only thing that you can ever see is their eyes. And why they never show some thigh. And now I know why Muslim women dress like ninjas. I know why they go around dressed from head to toe in disguise. It's not because the men are jealous guys. It's so they can do all of these heists.
Well, now you know. That's why Muslim women dress like ninjas. Take it easy, everybody. Have a good night. Go tune into the Kill stream. They're talking about some weird movie that shall not be named.